Yep. Well, we finally gotten on the air.
Hot diggity.
Okay,
Hot
well,
diggity
let me shut this down.
Are you going to shut that down? Well, did this override that?
Shut her down.
Hopefully.
Did you push the good? Can you go live there?
No, because the connection has been refused.
All right. Well, I ended that.
I think I got it.
I hear a train.
It says it's connecting. Connection refused. You want to take that over there and do that while we continue on with the show at 18 minutes after the hour?
Nice. 1829. Better write this down.
Yeah, you do that. Sit down there with Suze. Yep. Okay. Yeah, you do that, and we're going to continue on with the show. So I'm not going to bother everybody with the fact that we're going to not have an open here. What are y'all doing over there?
I'm
making notes?
Yeah.
Taking names?
I'm writing a ransom note.
Right, a ransom note. Well, that's perfect. Okay, so welcome to the In Wheel Time Car Show. We're late getting on the air this morning. I don't know why, and neither does anybody else, but whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. It's good to see you. How are you?
It's good to be here.
It's good to be seen.
And it's not as bad being late as some life experiences are.
In regards to
being late.
Being late. So,
we do have Richard.
Can you punch up Richard? And
I certainly can.
Is Richard on there with us?
Well, we need some adjustment on the screen.
I'm here.
I know you're there, Richard, audio wise, but we can't see you at the moment. But that's okay.
Yeah,
there we are.
There you go.
We got you.
Oh, we got you now.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, just hang there. There's some sort of ugly note up there next to his head.
That's what I was talking about. So I didn't want to put.
I see. Well, that's all right.
Mike's got you hooked up.
I think that's the dark cloud looming over my head.
Well, and there really is a dark cloud looming over your head. Either that or Alvin's on fire.
No, it's shaped like Mickey Mouse, like you're on one of those cruise ships where the clouds turn into animals.
Oh, my Lord. So at 20 minutes after the hour, Richard Tomlin with Apex is on the air with us. And how are you this morning? It's good to see you.
Man, life is good down here in Alvin. Decided to come outside today because the sun was out. You can still see it behind the dark clouds. But anyway, life is good in Alvin. Things are fast and furious this year. Lots of big races just finished last weekend. We've got probably a 3-week lull. And then we kick back off in Road Atlanta early March.
And you're going to go to that, aren't you?
Yeah, I'll be there with a local driver. He's got a couple Caterhams that are now equipped with Ford Focus motors. We'll go down there and play with those. A couple customers we'll take care of, but we just had a big event at COTA this last week in SCCA. We had 280 entries.
Oh, wow.
Weather went south, so we dropped to like 215. But, I mean, Wisconsin, New Jersey, all over the country making the drive to COTA to play. And it's because it's COTA. We understand that, but it's nice to see that many car lovers together getting ready to go out and play.
Is that place doomed? Does it have a little black cloud over it? Because last time I noticed COTA, the weather was awful with the NASCAR race. I mean, rain was coming down by the feet per minute as opposed to anything other measurement device. I don't get it.
It's interesting how often that place has the weather extremes of that area, from extremely cold to extremely hot. There's no shade. I mean, there's some downfalls to it, but it is our premier track in Texas. Without question.
Well, it's almost one of the premier tracks in the United States, mainly because it's the only place that runs an F1 race anymore.
Up that new track in the Ozarks. Boy, that thing looks amazing. So,
what track is that?
I don't even know the location of it yet. I've watched a couple of videos on it, and I'm like, I'm going there. So that'll be late March. We'll make the trip out there. But something Ozarks is the name of it. You just do Ozarks new track on Google, you'll find it.
So is that Ozarks, Missouri, or Ozarks, Arkansas?
Ozarks, Missouri.
Okay. That's a good central location.
Mr. Mars is over there unconsciously speaking into no man's land because and I told him, I said, you need to put a headset on if you want to talk. Oh, there's that.
That's the kind of day it's been, Richard.
You're like killing me.
Since about 4 o'clock this morning, it's been this way.
Well, you slept in a half an hour, you said.
I know, and that was a mistake, apparently.
Apparently it was.
Clearly.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what, we're going to open the door here, Mr. Mars, at midnight. You can come anytime after midnight. Just don't wake me up, okay? Because apparently
It'd probably be better.
Probably be better. And we still probably wouldn't get on the air in time for 8 o'clock.
Oh, no, we'd get on the air, but like 30 seconds before something would go wrong because Mars couldn't just leave it alone.
And what have you and I said to him all morning long?
Leave it alone.
Leave it
Don't
alone.
touch it.
Don't touch it.
Don't touch
When we left here last Saturday at 11 o'clock when the show went off the air, nothing has changed. We were on the air just fine. Why do we have to jack with it? You know?
Yeah.
Why do we have to jack with
Bigger
it?
and better.
No.
Always got to put
Always
a bigger
be-
carburetor or a
Yeah.
bigger can.
And how's that worked out for you so far?
You had it towed.
Always got to go bigger and better.
Uh-huh.
I will say, Don, it's not just you. We went testing Thursday, had a E36 BMW, had an oil leak, so we parked it, shut it off, took the key with us, came home, grabbed the trailer, went back to the track to pick it up. Hour and a half later, car won't start. Like completely dead. Battery's gone. Like what happened? How does this change that quickly?
Yeah.
So strange things do happen, especially when you start playing with electrons.
If you
You get a
say
little-
if you say so. But you
So-
know what? Here's the good thing. The birds are singing down in Alvin. I can hear them.
Yeah.
No,
So
it's a good
was
time.
the Falcon behind you at COTA with you last weekend?
No, it was actually supposed to be there this weekend to be pace vehicle, but they had some other more classic car show up than this one. But
So
this one's here.
what's going on
It's-
this weekend at COTA?
CVAR's there, and Edge Addicts are playing. So that's your HPDE high performance driving event, and then the Corinthian group, all of the vintage cars from the Houston, Dallas, San Antonio region, will be racing afternoons in COTA.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah, I think they got like 170, 160 entries, so pretty good field for vintage cars.
And that's a wide range of vintage cars, from the vintage Formula Fords to some of the Can-Ams
Correct.
to some of the Trans Am cars, and they all run different classes, or they combine them, everybody?
CVAR is a little more particular, so CVAR is basically everything from 72 back.
Okay.
Cut off there. Now, when you go to SVRA, that's where we get to see the modern Trans Am cars. You know, they're a year, 2 years old. They're no longer competitive.
Right.
They're in
And
the waiting room.
so there's lots of changes.
I'm just going to go home.
No,
Come
don't
back
do
later.
that, Michael.
After
Stop.
the
We love you,
show's over.
Michael.
Well, now that we got everything up and running, that's okay. So, do you help manage any of the cars for SRVA?
We've worked on a couple, some 914s, specifically a couple 944s. Porsches are not really my thing, but somehow we work on quite a few of them.
Well,
You know,
914's a little bit like working on a Volkswagen, isn't it?
A lot. Not
I was trying to
Car.
be polite because the Porsche people go berserk when you say that.
They do not like it when you call them a Volkswagen. We tend to do more body work and paint work for CVAR, even though it's a no contact event. We do a good bit of body work for them. Minor restoration type stuff.
Scratch and dent.
Yeah. But hey, I wanted to let you guys know and audience that next weekend we've got one of our 16 schools going on at MSR Houston. This is a full day event, car provided, food provided. Drop your kid off at 9 o'clock, come back and pick them up about 3:30. This is for people that have been driving a year or two. So they've got all their basic car control skills down. They're comfortable in the car. And then we ramp up their driving skill through ABS exercises, high G's on a skid pad, a wet skid pad. This is life-changing for some people, making their children a whole lot safer in vehicles.
Kind of like this program is.
Yeah. Can you drop off your mother-in-law?
Life-changing.
You can, if you're willing to pay the money, we'll take her. It's fine.
But this is to improve your driving skills on the road, not necessarily a competitive license driving skills.
Correct. We've
Training.
taken skills that we've developed racing on the track and broken those down and make them into where you can use them for daily driving to make you safer on the roads. Help you with accident avoidance, actual car control if you happen to get caught out in this crazy ice that we had a few weeks ago, or you're just out in the rain with some bald tires. Things that can actually help you save yourself and some other people around you.
And that is driving your own personal vehicle?
Nope, they're provided by Mercedes-Benz of Sugar Land. We have a contract with them, so the school cars are actual new Mercedes.
Yeah,
Nice.
we did that in Uvalde with Continental. They had BMWs.
Richard, it's great to have you with us this morning. We apologize for being late, and we're going to make it up to you. We may call you here in a little while.
Hey, the cloud disappeared above them.
Are you good with that?
Back.
All right.
Things are
Thank you, sir.
Blue skies.
all right.
All right. The In Wheel Time Car Show streams, if we can get it on the air, on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and InWheelTime.com. Podcasts are available from your favorite podcast. Did you say something down there?
I'm not
He was
saying
agreeing with
nothing
you.
today.
He's agreeing with you.
I agree with everything you're saying at the moment.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna take care of all of this right here. No, I don't want to hear it. Podcasts are available from your favorite podcast source. The In Wheel Time Car Show continues after a quick break.
Houston, we have a date. Saturday, March 19th, 2022. It's the premiere of the all-new Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, and you are invited. Tailpipes and Tacos kicks off a new seasonal format, and first up is the Spring Cruise-In at the Lupi Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. Saturday, March 19th. Tailpipes and Tacos will award trophies for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, and Best Modern Classic, so make plans now. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest cruise-in, and this one brings it all together for Spring 2022. You'll enjoy seeing the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods, along with Lupi Tortilla breakfast tacos and adult beverages. There's no fee, and you can automatically compete for custom Lupi trophies. It all happens at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Get your ride ready for the all-new Spring Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, March 19th. Spectators are welcome. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there, too. Let's celebrate the arrival of spring and the return of Tailpipes and Tacos, March 19th. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching In Wheel Time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Wheel Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@inwheeltime.com. If you're in charge of your company's small, medium, or large business anywhere in the U.S., let the On Hold Company help you retain customers and promote your business on your telephone system. Promote special sales or company info when placed on hold. The On Hold Company provides custom on-hold messages with professional male or female voices, licensed background music with no long-term contract, no monthly recurring bill, and updates your messages as needed. Call the On Hold Company at 713-223-HOLD or go to onhold.net.
We think it's the In Wheel Time Car Show, the place for weekly entertaining, and there's no doubt about that, car talk. Emily Voss with Carfax joins us, along with her partner there, with the very latest on the company and the used car market. Conrad has the popular This Week in Auto History. We'll get you updated on the stories making car news this week, and I'll have a review of the 2022 Wagoneer. It doesn't have a actual car company that's associated with it, from what I understand, because it doesn't say anything about Jeep or Chevrolet or anything else, just called a Wagoneer.
They are definitely differentiating
Launching
themselves.
its own brand.
Never heard of a Chevrolet Wagoneer.
So at any rate, welcome along with Mike out of this world, Mars, drinking, and that's alcohol that's in there.
It better be.
Yeah,
I wish.
smoking.
At this point.
And King Conrad DeLong, and we need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad that you could join us this morning. And we're sorry for being late on the air because of technical difficulties. Please stand by.
We were, too.
Let's go to our guest this hour, Emily Voss and Faisal Hassan with Carfax. Good morning, you guys. How are you?
Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
It's great to have you. It's great to have you guys with us. Boy, I'll tell you what, since the last time we talked, what a change in the used car market. Oh, my God. Are you guys going crazy with all the Carfaxes coming through? I want to find out about this used car that I'm going to buy.
Yes, it has been a huge change since the last time we saw you. We're just seeing unprecedented things happening, as you guys, I'm sure, have been talking about in the used car market. Record prices. We've never seen prices like this before. So even just year over year, from last January to this January, prices are up 40% on used cars.
That's
40%.
That is completely crazy.
Yeah, it truly is. And I just read a story yesterday that everybody is predicting that this resurgence, if you will, interest in used cars is going to continue through at least the third quarter and maybe into the fourth quarter. Is that what you guys are hearing too?
Yeah, we're hearing the same thing. So a lot of this, obviously, we know about the production issues with new cars, the chip shortage. It all factors into what we're seeing in the used car market too. And from what we're hearing, analysts are saying that probably won't correct itself or level off a little bit until the second half of the year. So that is what we are hearing right now. And truly, vehicle history has never been more important, because if you're already paying 40% more, you want to know the history of that vehicle. You want to make sure you're not missing out on something else about that vehicle and have a surprise down the road.
Well, it's truly amazing. Any particular trends that you're seeing? Are people just buying whatever they can, or do they have a list, and then from the list that they narrow in on a car? Yeah. Is it going to anything out there, or is the one particular, for instance, are the SUVs hot, CUVs, four-door sedans? What is it in particular that's really got the hot spot going?
Yeah, so I can tell you sedans are actually what we've seen in the last year. So 2021 was really the year of the sedan. So sedan prices are up actually 43% from this same time last year. They've kind of led the way. But I mean, trucks and pickup trucks and SUVs also, pickup trucks up 29%, SUVs up 33%.
Wow.
But sedans by far and away the most popular. Also, the price point for a sedan is lower usually to start with. And so, but we've just seen a huge increase. So a year ago, the average sedan cost about $16,000, and now it costs almost $23,000.
Holy
the average. So when we look at our Carfax used car listings, the average price of a sedan listed on there right now is about $23,000.
And that's funny because sedan sales have been seriously declining over the last 4 or 5 years because everybody's been pushing into the CUV, SUV, and I can't imagine there's that much inventory of sedans out there available for that kind of a rush in price.
Right. I'm sure that might play into it. The supply issue. I think we have classic supply demand across the used car market right now. But you're exactly right, because a year ago, the story we were talking about was that SUVs for the first time in history had surpassed the demand for SUVs had surpassed the demand for sedans. And now, a year later, we've kind of seen a shift back to the sedans.
So what I'm hearing is mileage and condition aren't really a big factor anymore. Just the availability of the vehicle.
No, they continue to be a factor, because when you're paying 40% over for a sedan, right? 40% over for a sedan, 29% over for an SUV or a truck, it becomes even more important. And cars are moving so fast, they're not going through the normal wholesale process where they're going to go to a physical auction and go through the condition. No, now the buyer really has to beware. And so we've seen significantly more usage of our reports. So yeah, there's no question that condition report writing, the use of vehicle history, knowing all of those things has become even more crucial.
And you're saying that because less of the vehicles are coming through auction, because you see all the dealers are advertising, I want to buy your used car.
I get that all the time.
So is that part of why Carfax becomes even more important?
Absolutely. And you look at the Carvanas, the Vrooms, you look at those types of models where you're not even going to a dealer, you're buying online. You're trying to do everything online, and the vehicle history report becomes even that much more important. That test drive that you need to take is much tougher to take. So you've got to find someone to inspect that car for you in addition to the vehicle history report. Those things have become more important. What COVID and the pandemic did was they changed the market, right? It stopped us from going to our traditional dealer for almost 8 months. And if you needed a car, you were going online, you were going to Carvana, you were going to those types of models.
Speaking of which, and that's the next thing I wanted to talk to you guys about. How does Carfax work in conjunction with people buying online from providers, if you want to call them that, Vroom, Carvana, Drive Time, those kind of online dealers? How does Carfax work in conjunction with them?
Well, we're there to help to aid the consumer. Right. So if you go to any of these entities, you'll see the Carfax report there available for you. And that's the key. Is so whether you're buying from Carvana or Vroom or AutoNation, or you go to Carfax used car listings, at Carfax.com or AutoTrade or any of these places, you're going to see the Carfax report right there. So when you're buying online, you're able to go and at least see the history of the car, the Carfax history-based value, and then just like we write on the report, and then you also need to get the car inspected, especially if you're buying it online. Especially, I mean, we hear stories all the time of people buying a car 2 states over because there's no inventory in their state and they're going to have it shipped to them. And so you've really got to find an inspector there to look at it or make the car contingent. And the market makes that really hard because of that demand.
How do you find an inspector that you could trust in the city that you are?
Well, what you do is if you have a mechanic that you've been going to regularly, take the car to that mechanic. That's really the best way to do it. If you're buying a house, what you're always advised is realtors are trustworthy, but get your own inspector to inspect your house. It's the same way here. You want to buy a used car from someone. If you go to a Carfax dealer, those guys are very reputable. They're running the Carfax report. They're reconditioning the car. They're doing all of that hard work. And some of them are actually even doing inspections of the car and posting them on the Carfax report. You'll see actually a link on the Carfax report to an independent inspection that was done in addition to the vehicle's history.
I didn't know there was such a thing as a Carfax dealer. Tell me about that.
Sure. Go ahead, Emily.
So it's a dealer that offers you the Carfax report. So we partner with over 28,000 dealers around the country who offer the Carfax report, up front there when you're shopping with them, whether online, like we were talking about, or whether you go to the physical dealership. They provide you that Carfax report so that you can make those decisions more confidently when you're buying the car and have that history up front. So, also to Faisal's point, we were talking about how to find a reputable, I just want to circle back to how to find a reputable shop too. If you don't have a mechanic, right? If you don't have somebody that you trust, on Carfax, we have a service shop finder, and you can read actual reviews from verified customers who have been, so you can look at it. And this works even if you were going to buy a car from a state away. You can put in a zip code and look up service shops in that area that have 4.9 5-star reviews from 100 verified Carfax consumers, people who actually we know they took their car to that shop, got it serviced, and then they wrote the review. So it's not flooded with, anything else. It is actually truly verified reviews from people who went there. And that's a great way to be able to know that other consumers like you have trust to shop and find somewhere.
So let me ask you, if I'm buying from that other state online, whether it be Carvana, Vroom, or just some Craigslist, wherever. And I can pull the Carfax. I understand that's a good thing. We got to do that. So have you ever seen somebody make arrangements to have that vehicle inspected remote? Like from me to you, you're on the East Coast someplace. If I was buying a car there, have you ever seen anybody make arrangements for a shop to go get that car and do that kind of inspection?
Yes, and Faisal can talk to this too, but yes, so you can get, mechanics will go inspect the vehicle even if you are not physically there for you.
To do a pre-purchase inspection.
One of the best ways to find that mechanic is go to Carfax and find a reputable shop. If I live in Washington, D.C., if I'm buying a car from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, I'm going to go to the Carfax and I'm going to look up a shop that's 4.5, 5-star ratings. It's got a lot of verified reviews. And I'm going to say, hey, within 5 minutes of you, I'm about to buy this car. Can I pay you, $25, $50 to go and inspect it for me and let me know what you think?
So do the criteria vary from state to state? Is it set up by Carfax or does the repair?
Is it set up by the shop?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, is the criteria, because Mike's buying it from 2 states over, does the same thing apply as an inspection as it would here?
No, not necessarily. It's pretty wide open, in all honesty. You've just got to find someone you trust who can go and inspect it. There are no specific rules or regulations. But I've taken used cars that I've bought to a mechanic I trust and just said, hey, just give it the once over, and they'll do an inspection of it. They'll check the tires. They'll check is the engine oil, does it look clean, like it's been changed regularly, that sort of thing. And really mechanical, there are companies out there that will go out and inspect it for damage as well. But, anything you can do along with that vehicle history report is really going to get you where you need to be.
How much does Carfax cost?
If you're buying a report yourself, $40. And then if you were going to a dealer, a lot of dealers, and even if you're looking to buy a car from a private seller, a lot of times you can ask that seller, can you provide me the Carfax? And that is totally within reason. And a lot of times the sellers will provide it, sometimes even up front, without you even having to ask.
And how do you get your information about whatever car it is that you can get a Carfax on? How do you get the information about the car?
Well, you're asking the right person, because Faisal is actually our head of data. So
well man, you're asking about our secret sauce. And,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so we've been around since 1986, right? And so we go and work with over 130,000 entities. And the reason the number is so large is we go to the point of creation. Who's touching that car? Who's making that? Who's doing that oil change? Who's changing the brakes on that car? We work with the vehicle manufacturers to help them close recalls. So they're sending, VIN level recall to us. So there's literally thousands. If you think about anything that could happen to a car from the moment it leaves the factory until it becomes scrap metal, we go out and we try to talk about that piece of metal from the moment it leaves the factory till it becomes scrap again. What happened to that piece of the metal, and what are all of the things that could have happened to it? And so we go and we scour the earth for that data.
So has the vehicle maintenance, just the normal maintenance a customer would perform on their vehicle, how is that reporting done to Carfax? Let's say if I go to, Joe Blow's repair shop and get my brakes done and get all of that, does he have to report it to Carfax, or does Carfax somehow look into his database to see that VIN has been serviced?
So we work with close to 70,000 service and repair facilities, and we go directly to the principal of that facility. Carfax doesn't go into anybody's system or anything like that. Data's pushed to us only if if a shop wants to participate. And we help them. We help the consumer track the history of the car. We don't know who owns the car. All we know is that a VIN got an oil change, or a VIN got a tire rotation. But no. The shop pushes the data to us. It's purely voluntary if they want to participate. And we've seen the shops, the 70,000 shops that participate, they've seen the value back to their consumers, because we have 33 million VINs that are in Carfax Car Care.
Wow.
And those are consumers who have opted in and said, hey, I want you to be my virtual glove box. And we had millions every single month who sign up for this. And so we can tell them when they need an oil change, when it's time to re-register their car, if they've got an open recall. I mean, we're in their pocket all the time. We don't know who they are, right? Because they just sign up using an email, but they opt in, and we've got 33 million and growing.
Well, I think that I used your service back in the 80s when you first came about, and I think that a lot has happened in that period of time, and you guys have really ballooned as far as the information that you gather and what is now available. Have you not?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, in 86, 87, when our founder found us in Columbia, Missouri, he had 10,000 title brand records. We're loading 5.5 million records a day today. 5.5 million a day.
Well, and Carfax is the player in the market. You guys have created your own market by offering these services to buyers and to sellers and to the dealerships in the middle. You really don't have any, I'm going to blurt this out and you might correct me on this, you really don't have any competition in the market for what you do.
I think what Carfax did was we found a place where the market had a void, and we came in and filled the void. There are others trying to fill the void. There's absolutely no question. We really don't look around us as to who's doing what. We have a very clear mission, is to help people buy and sell cars, with the best information possible. We stay focused on that mission. And it's a really amazing thing to watch the market change because of companies like Carfax, and our pioneering effort. It used to be, you guys know this, used to be you go out and buy a used car, you had to trust what the seller was selling you. And today you've got someone there to help you. And that's a good thing.
You've got data. That's the thing I like about it. It's not, we do car reviews here. Don and I get a new car. We do car reviews. There are some facts in there, but there's also some opinion, obviously. We kind of like this. We kind of don't like that, even if we don't come out and blurt that out. But everything that you put on your Carfax is all data. There's no opinions in it. There's no I like, I don't like. It's real, and that's it.
Here's what was done, and here's why it was done.
And I think that's what's so great about it.
And to that point, also, they indicated that they track oil changes and things of that nature. Can it be branched out to, say, boats or motorcycles? Now, obviously, they're not in any crashes to do a report. But
he's smiling.
Yeah, I mean, you heard it here
I'm
first.
smiling. I'm only smiling because I've been at Carfax 22 years, and we've looked at all of those things, and we've had people with great ideas come to us.
I knew it was a great idea.
We've even had companies come to us wanting to track homes, right? And it is really very different. I mean, because a vehicle in 1981, they created the VIN, and it's required on every vehicle. It's a little bit of a different animal. We've looked at boats, we've looked at motorcycles, I spent a year looking at doing it with homes. It is very different, very different. And because this is about the VIN, and it's not about a person, it's about a piece of metal, and we actually don't give VIN information. Somebody has to have a VIN to bring to us and run against our system. It's a slightly different animal when it comes to vehicles.
Well, and it's good to know that you've concentrated on the whole car aspect of it. Listen, it's always great to talk to you guys, and we need to do this on a more regular basis so we can get up to date information on this used car frenzy that's going on. And I have a feeling that it's going to continue, maybe not to the extent that it is today, but I think that this whole pandemic thing has really opened up a lot of people's opinions about buying a used car as opposed to a new car. Because let's face it, now we're talking, generally speaking, an average price of a used car has finally gone up to $40,000. That's a lot when you can get a really decent used car for $20,000, $30,000.
I'm going to sell mine.
Yeah. It's a great time to sell. If you have to turn around and buy again, you're going to be paying for it.
Emily, you might want to just quickly touch on the new car, what's happening with new car prices, right? That the used car prices have surpassed them.
Yeah, we've seen some situations where vehicles are the used, because the new car, you can't get it anywhere, and there's no projected date of where certain models are going to be back in stock. So people are paying more than MSRP for the used version of those vehicles, which is just not over MSRP for a new, over MSRP for a used version, a 2019 or 2020, because they can't find it, which is just unheard of. So
yes.
Yeah, we have a used car operator, Emmons Motorplex, that we have on the show with some regularity, and they were showing us where the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter vans, a 2 or 3 year old one, is selling for more than a brand new one is.
Because you can't get a brand new one.
Right, you can't get the new one.
I got my eye on an Oldsmobile Rally.
Well, it's again great to talk to you guys. Thank you so much for joining us on this Saturday, and let's stay in touch.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Emily
Appreciate
Voss and Faisal Hassan. We really appreciate it. All right, we're going to move on. We got lots to get to this morning. As a matter of fact, it's time for This Week in Auto History.
Okay, I got to load that puppy.
Well, where have you been? What have you been doing
I just got to bring
there?
it up. I had your review in first.
Oh, I thought you said you had jury duty.
I'm going to start here in a minute.
All right, Conrad. It is all yours, sir.
We up there, Jeffrey?
Yep.
So and I'm going to pick the wrong one.
Where's he at now? Everybody's like
in 1911, Rolls-Royce adopted the Spirit of Ecstasy mascot, the silver-winged hood ornament that's become very popular as the Rolls-Royce symbol. And it's always been mounted to the grille And in years recent, they actually have it where it disappears into the grill because
I saw that, yeah.
people would just walk by and try and steal it and break it off.
Yep.
And now they actually have it where it's motorized and it drops down under the hood and disappears.
And it's probably worth several $100s.
And then in 1929, Major Seagrave set a new land speed record of 231 miles an hour on the Daytona beach, driving a car called the Golden Arrow. Look at this car and look at in 1929, the aerodynamics of it as well. You know, they've got these lines that follow these solid tires, trying to keep the aerodynamics of the car correct, and how the front wing and everything works. Pretty far advanced for its day.
No numbers on coefficient or anything?
No numbers on coefficient. In 1937, after a difficult 44-day sit-down strike at the Fisher Body Plant in Flint, Michigan, General Motors signed the first union contract in history in the automotive industry with Fisher by Body, and then eventually it turned into the United Auto, or UAW,
Fisher, yeah.
Body by Fisher.
Yeah, that's right. I worked for them. In
1948, the first Cadillac with tail fins was produced, signaling the dawn of the tail fin era. Harley Earl had looked at the P-38 Lightning World War II plane and said, hey, I just like the look of that, and then started adding tail fins. And tail fins were all the rage from 48 to about 60, with the tallest tail fins on Cadillacs done in 1959.
You betcha.
And this 62 sedan Cadillac is also the base for ZZ Top's Cadzilla. Not this particular car, but the 62 Series 62 Cadillac. In 1952, the first "Don't Walk" sign was installed in New York City. The city erected the signs in response to the growing awareness of pedestrian fatalities, as people would just step out in the street. And in New York, pedestrians don't have the right of way. They just have the right of getting run over. So New York came up with the "Don't Walk" sign.
Kind of like Mars did this morning.
But
got run over.
You're assuming people follow the rules, and that is New York, remember. In 1954, Mercedes introduced their 300 SL Coupe to the public. A stylish sports car characterized by its gull-wing doors, the Coupe was a consumer version of the 300 SL race car, which had a 6-cylinder engine with a top speed of 155 miles an hour. That 6-cylinder engine was also had the fuel injection system of a Messerschmitt, which was a gasoline direct injected engine back in 1954. Pretty advanced for its day. Mercedes only manufactured 1,400 SL coupes. The SL is still considered one of the most impressive sports cars of its day, and some of them went through in the $3 to $5 million range recently at the auctions in Scottsdale and Florida.
Thank you.
Yep.
You're welcome.
As far as headlines this week, Kia America and Hyundai Motor America are recalling more than 500,000 vehicles combined for possible defects that could cause engine compartment thermal events, namely fires, according to separate notices filed with NHTSA. Affected Kias are the 2016 through 18 K900 and the 14 through 16 Sportage models. The affected Hyundai vehicles, 2016 to 18 Santa Fe, 17 to 18 Santa Fe Sport, the 19 Santa Fe XL, and the 14 to 15 Tucson models, or as I like to call them, the Tucson models.
Oh. The K900.
The K900. Who does that? Who names a car after a dog?
Because K800 was already taken.
Oh, God, that's just so wrong. I think every Audi made in the 2019 through 2021 model years are being recalled. I mean, look at the list. What is that? 2 dozen? All of them. 2 dozen of them. The rear axle may be misaligned in those cars.
Nice.
Have your rear tires wear out in 1,000 miles or something. Chrysler, the Ram 2500. From 2019 to 2020, the windshield wipers may not operate properly, all as well as
because there's a nut loose.
On the wheel, yeah.
In this building, there's a nut loose, or 2, or 3, or 4. Cadillac rear-wheel drive shaft assemblies may fail. Oops.
No.
Vehicle may fail to stop at the stop sign for the Tesla Model 3, S, X, and Y. And the Porsche Cayenne is being recalled because the rear axle may be misaligned in that.
Well, that's a shared platform with Audi.
Mercedes-Benz AMG GT, incorrect length wiring harness may become damaged. They stretched it a little bit too tight. Mm-hmm. And the seatbelt chime may not activate. God knows we need that. In the Tesla Model 3, S, X, and Y from 17 to 22.
S, X, and Y.
Sexy.
Bringing sexy back.
Bringing my sexy back.
We do that every Saturday.
Well, not this Saturday. Time now for a quick break. We'll be right back after these fine messages.
Houston, we have a date. Saturday, March 19th, 2022. It's the premiere of the all-new Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, and you are invited. Tailpipes and Tacos kicks off a new seasonal format, and first up is the Spring Cruise-In at the Lupi Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. Saturday, March 19th. Tailpipes and Tacos will award trophies for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, and Best Modern Classic. So make plans now. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest cruise-in, and this one brings it all together for Spring 2022. You'll enjoy seeing the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods, along with Lupi Tortilla breakfast tacos and adult beverages. There's no fee, and you can automatically compete for custom Lupi trophies. It all happens at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Get your ride ready for the all-new Spring Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, March 19th. Spectators are welcome. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there, too. Let's celebrate the arrival of spring and the return of Tailpipes and Tacos, March 19th. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching in real time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Real Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@inrealtime.com. If you're in charge of your company's small, medium, or large business anywhere in the U.S., let the On Hold Company help you retain customers and promote your business on your telephone system. Promote special sales or company info when placed on hold. The On Hold Company provides custom on-hold messages with professional male or female voices, licensed background music with no long-term contract, no monthly recurring bill, and updates your messages as needed. Call the On Hold Company at 713-223-HOLD or go to onhold.net.
Oh, my goodness. It's the In Real Time Car Talk Show.
Finally.
Just ahead, Jeffrey gives us his take on the 1964 Dodge 330.
That's all I'm going to tell you now.
Later, we talk with Bobby Sparkman about the Hot Rod Tour of Texas that I'm going on in April. Conrad has the racing calendar and car clinic, and we also have the stories making automotive news headlines this week. Just ahead on this edition of the In Real Time Car Talk Show. We are on the air, are we not?
Yes, we are.
Oh, my God, it's a miracle.
Isn't it great?
Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Zekin.
Yep.
I'm Don Armstrong. Glad that you could join us on this Saturday. We don't have a guest, and I'm glad that we don't have a guest this segment because I need to do some catching up.
Well,
Ketchup?
I got a topic for when you run
No,
out
I
of
don't
ketchup.
need it. No, I don't need it. I don't need that. We don't need mercurochrome on the show at this hour of the morning. Yet.
Oh.
That's a topical.
That's
It is a topical. I want to get tropical.
It's ointment.
No, it's not an ointment. It's some red juice that stung like hell in open cuts.
Yeah.
It reminded you never to go back to your mom and say, "Hey, I cut myself."
Yeah, here, let me put some mercurochrome
you just
on it.
bled out somewhere in the yard. You rubbed enough mud on it where she wouldn't see it.
No, you rubbed it on your pants. Don't you remember? You rubbed everything on your pants. No?
You are
You're
odd.
assuming he was wearing pants.
Well, that is that. Yeah, well, that's what you used to do.
Brill cream. That's another.
And in the wintertime, when it was really icy and snowy, on your sleeve, and it would become frozen, crusty right there.
Snot.
And it would just flake right off. You just wipe.
Particularly when it got cold.
You wouldn't
feel it
know.
all.
You're from Neaterville.
For those of you having breakfast,
He lived in Wisconsin.
we apologize if you're
Hey,
having
we
breakfast.
had snow in Oklahoma.
Yeah. Okay, fine. I'm going to do a car review now that I tried to get
Hold
to
on, I gotta
last
bring it
hour,
up.
but because we started so late, let me turn that off. Because we started so late, Because we started so late, because of technical difficulties. One moment, please. Please stand by. The fault does not lie with your set.
We've since caught up, and we're off.
No, we're not caught up because I'm about to get us caught up after I do this car review.
Go for it.
Okay. Our car review of the week is going to be of the 2022 Wagoneer. Not the Jeep Wagoneer, but the Wagoneer. Now, it does have a 7-slot grille. As a matter of fact, it kind of looks like a Jeep front end on this thing.
Well, I would assume so.
But it's not a Jeep. It
Wagoneer.
doesn't say anything about Jeep on this. I looked. Even on the window sticker. There's the window sticker. Do you see Jeep on any of that? There's the window sticker. You look at that.
Well,
So
I've seen some emails. They really don't want to call it associated with Jeep.
I don't know why, but they've got something else in mind. And my guess is that this is going to become a separate line, and it is going to be their upscale line.
Yes.
That's what
That's what they're shooting for.
Kind of like Genesis is to Hyundai and Lexus is to Toyota.
Yeah.
Wagoneer will be to Jeep.
So the available trim levels are the Series 1, the Series 2, and the Series 3. I had the Series 2 4x4. This is called a standard SUV, which means it is a body on a frame, a truck frame, modified truck frame, and it is on a Ram truck frame.
Is it really?
It is.
I didn't realize that.
I know. That's why I'm saying it, because I've got some news to tell you about it. All right. Seats up to 8 passengers, including the driver. Exterior changes from last model year, they're worn on because it's all new for 2022. Exterior features 7-slot Jeep grille with Wagoneer emblazoned across the front of the hood. Crisp but conservative overall design. Nicely designed rear hatch with a nod to the Wagoneer of the 70s. And if you look at it, you're going to go, there's something about that that's kind of familiar, the way that they did the rear glass. The rear glass is almost flat in the back, and that's very unusual in these days.
But I think that is a nod to the original.
Yeah, it is. And it when you look at it, if you know what the 70s Wagoneer looked like, it's really a nice, sweet little touch that they've added there. Balanced lighting, front and rear, smart-looking feature that is well-proportioned. It's all just as clean as you can imagine. What I did like about it is the clean, conservative, contemporary overall look. What could use improvement? Nothing. Interior highlights. Small instrument display pod with a huge infotainment screen in the middle. A rotary transmission shifter knob on the forward center console. All of this is, you look at it and
but
you
that's
think,
Ram truckish, though, isn't it?
yes, it is. But it's the way that they've placed it, the way that it is designed, and putting the rotary knob. I love the rotary knob because back in the old days with the shifter that was on the column, that was all mechanical. It went down to levers on the transmission.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do that anymore. It's all electronic.
Right.
Control buttons, services, just placed in all the right places. High-end leather throughout the cabin with very comfortable seats. If you have the third row up, the cargo area in the back is small. What I liked about it, overall high marks for keeping it conservative. That's what this is really all about here. It's not some cutting-edge deal with
super fancy
with some sort of touchpad in the center console. None of that junk that it just is wrong in a car. This is really good. Nothing could use improvement. It has a you a little choking over there? 5.7 liter V8 with an e-torque system on it, which is kind of like a mild hybrid technology. 392 horsepower, 404 pound-feet of torque. 8-speed automatic transmission. Tow rating, 10,000 pounds.
Wow.
Haul rating, 1,500 pounds. 16 miles per gallon city, 22 highway for a combined of 18. I got 17 over 265 miles. What I liked about it, the perfect balance between power and capability. What could use improvement? Better mileage, but you know that the hybrid's in the work and it works,
Right.
and the all-new electrics are.
I imagine there's an EV version.
Oh,
around the
absolutely.
corner.
You know
Gotta
that.
be.
What I loved about the ride and handling, that air ride suspension is the only way to go. Are we keeping you up?
Nope.
Okay. Pricing. Okay. The base model price is $70,995. Base trim price $58,995, and prices tested $78,485. Now this is the size of not a Suburban but of a Tahoe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because the Grand Wagoneer is the great big Wagoneer. Okay, so as far as competitors, the Lincoln Navigator goes for $76,710, the Cadillac Escalade $78,000, and the BMW X7 for $74,900. And that is the review of the 2022 Wagoneer. If you like nice, luxury, conservatively styled SUVs, body on frame, this is the one that you need to drive.
Trail capable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's not a Jeep. Let's not forget that.
That's what they say.
Okay. All right. So now that I've got, did you find anything interesting over here?
Yeah, where I circled.
Oh, it does say Jeep Wagoneer up there, doesn't it?
I think that was by mistake.
Teeny tiny letters.
Because I know they have adamantly not wanted to use Jeep along with Wagoneer.
And I get that.
And mainly because we listened to her that whole time at the auto show, and she never said Jeep as she was introducing the Wagoneer.
vehicle, yeah.
So, they
want to separate it as the luxury brand.
Yeah,
and you say Jeep, and you don't think luxury. You think off-road capability.
Correct. But how would they expand the Wagoneer line to anything other than a Wagoneer?
Then the Grand Wagoneer, which is the step up from a normal Wagoneer.
I know, but still, that's it. So you got the Wagoneer and the Grand Wagoneer. You got the Tahoe and you got the Suburban, but it doesn't go any further than that.
Well, isn't there a Wagoneer L, the long version?
There is going to be a Wagoneer L, I believe, that's coming.
Mm-hmm. Which will be more suburban-ish than Tahoe-ish.
But that's the Grand Wagoneer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, but what else do they need? I mean, like the Genesis that we talked about earlier. I mean, you can have some different trim levels, but...
think about it. GM does it with the Chevy Suburban and Tahoe, the GMC Denali and Yukon, and the Escalade. Those
Lincoln.
are all three versions of stepped up levels of content.
And I think that the Escalade is the ESL. If I'm not mistaken, they call the big one
ESV.
ESV, that's what it is, ESV. I knew it was something along those lines.
Theoretically.
But, so Jeep's trying,
we're making fun of Mars.
Stellantis is doing that in the Wagoneer brand, is offering that step up.
Well, they've done a great job, and I'll tell you, I was impressed.
Well, again, looking at GM, you don't think of Suburban, Tahoe, and Denali is its own brand, and Escalade is its own brand, and there's big differences between them, but there's a lot of similarities between them as well.
Don't go away mad. Just go away.
He's been threatening to
Are
go
you
home.
getting a little chilled? Yes. Well,
it's part of getting old. Well, you cut your hair, so it's
shaved his
not
beard.
as furry as you used to be.
That's right. Mars got a haircut. He only gets them twice a year. So
Jeffrey Zekin equals the luxury brand of In Wheel Time.
Oh wow!
Really?
Who said that? Thanks, Mom.
George.
Oh, Lord. Listen, did you hear? Since we're speaking of new SUVs, did you see that Ferrari's coming out with one?
Oh God!
Yes, they are. Ferrari, one of the few automakers to avoid global supply chain disruptions, is coming off a record sales year and has confirmed plans to build the Purosangue. I guess that's the way you pronounce it. Its first utility vehicle this year. Deliveries will begin in 2023. The plug-in hybrid is expected to feature a front mid-engine architecture. How do you...
Purosangue.
I guess so. Purosangue.
Okay.
Okay.
You got to be Italian.
Exactly. So, images of the Purosangue, I guess that's the way you pronounce it, Italian for thoroughbred, undergoing road tests in Italy. Hint, it will be more of a crossover than a traditional SUV. It resembles a 5-door Grand Tourer rather than a direct rival to Lamborghini's Urus or Aston Martin's DBX.
Have you seen the DBX? That is stunningly beautiful, as is the Lamborghinis. But, you know, look at where the market has gone. What's Porsche's number one seller?
Yeah.
The Cayenne.
The SUV.
You know, you think...
And remember when it came out, everybody's going, you cannot ruin the brand by making an SUV. And now it's the number one seller.
And it still sells 911s, which they've been selling 911s since the 60s. But the SUV has become its cash cow. You know, I don't know, how do you call a cash cow at Ferrari, because they're all cash cows. At, you know, everything starts at, you know, $300,000 and up.
Well, speaking of Ferraris, I have to find the story because this to me was a jaw dropper.
Well, while you're looking for that, you heard that General Motors is going to be introducing their line of EVs at the Super Bowl using the Austin Powers villains.
I heard
Is
that.
just insane?
You make me. Okay, here's the story. We were talking about Ferraris. You ever heard of Larry Van Tool?
Yeah.
Okay. Larry Van Tool, who sold his empire of 81 dealerships to Warren Buffett back in 2015, now owns 8 dealerships. He's back in the business again after buying 2 Ferrari stores and 2 Toyota outlets over 2 weeks early this year. Van Tool, through his Visionary Automotive Group, is what he's calling it, on January 19th, bought, drumroll please, Ferrari of Houston and Ferrari of the Woodlands, both in Texas, from Giuseppe Risi, who's owned owned the dealership. He was friends with Enzo.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how he got the Ferrari dealership here in Houston. I met the guy. Very nice, very.
And has run, Risi Competition has run a IMSA car competitively for 40 years.
Yeah, many years.
Yes, exactly. And so the Van Tool has purchased both of those dealerships. So there's that. The guy is 72 years old, told Automotive News that he is actively looking for more dealerships to buy, but has nothing else under contract currently.
So if you have a Ferrari dealership you want to sell, call him.
Yeah, he does want to ensure he does deals with the right people and the manufacturers and the right locations so that you can hire, attract, and retain people. 2 Ferrari dealerships are the first for the exotic brand for the entrepreneur. Risi is a well-known dealer. He owned Ferrari of Houston in 1980 after receiving authorization from Enzo, according to the dealership's website. Risi also is founder and manager of Ferrari racing team Risi Competizione. I hope I said that right. I think that's the way you pronounce it.
Well, that's the way they pronounce it in Italy. In the United States, it's Risi Competition. I know what it is. I can't pronounce it, so I don't bother.
Van Tool said he and Risi really hit it off. He said he also liked that the dealerships were in Texas and were from a brand with a rich history.
There you go.
So take that. I thought that was pretty big news. That's why.
Well, to buy both of them in Houston as well.
Yeah.
You know.
What is it, Mike?
David Ainsley says my level's a little low.
It's not now. Say something, Mike.
It was low on purpose, Ainsley.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what I told him. But
Oh, boy.
Yes, because...
it's been one of those mornings.
It has been, because Mars had his microphone way away from him like this, and it was really hard for me to bring that kind of thing up, you know.
Is that better?
Yeah. But I've said on the show many times that these are not audio, radio, broadcasting people, so...
What?
They know not what they do.
We're not even TV people.
Well, you are now.
We shouldn't be.
No, you shouldn't be. That's true. This I thought was an interesting story. Martin Chevrolet Buick GMC has a frequently updated spreadsheet Pardon me?
Is that
Sounds familiar.
Is that Lake Jackson?
Yeah.
Martin Chevrolet Buick GMC has a frequently updated spreadsheet on its website showing what vehicles are coming to the dealership, so customers can reserve the one that they want before it gets sold to someone else. Customers can browse the frequently updated spreadsheet of what's in transit and in production, and then call, text, or chat online with the sales team to reserve a vehicle with a refundable $1,000 deposit. From August through December, reserved vehicles accounted for 17% of the store's new vehicle sales, increased sales team engagement, and improved turn rate, said Janet Martin Clark, vice president of the store in Cleveland, Texas.
Cleveland, Texas.
This story.
Oh, okay. I know which one you're talking about.
This story made national news through Automotive News, and now the other dealers are clamoring to get their inventory list up online so people can say, "Oh, they've got such and such coming," and it looks like the delivery date of 3 or 4 months from now. Well, I want that.
I find it odd that it's only 17% of their sales are going through the pre-purchase process.
Well, no, it's not just the pre-purchase process, but it's from the spreadsheet.
Right.
Yeah.
But 17%, I would think it would be much higher than that. But
Well, they just started this.
Okay.
Yeah, no dealers apparently have been putting their spreadsheet, what they've got on order and what's being built for them before.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah.
That's always been kind of the secret sauce.
But and it's really, and why is it secret? It shouldn't be, really, if you stop and think about it. What difference does it make?
Especially when you're not earning 300 cars a month anymore, which is what they used to be.
Yeah. So I just thought that also was an interesting story that I wanted to throw out there. All right. We're going to move on now.
Another Texas car dealer story.
Yeah. Well, we're a big state and we got things going on.
GM hopes to deliver 400,000 EVs in North America by 2024.
Huh.
Really?
That's a lot of Chargers.
Good luck on that. That ain't going to happen. Yes?
The only thing, it still bothers me, the more they talk about what they're going to deliver and stuff, not only do we not have the infrastructure to support it, but the market, it's not a market-driven thing. These people they're going to make us, whether we like it or not.
No, they're not.
They're going to try to.
They're going to mandate EVs.
Oh, right. That's where it's headed. I mean, it won't happen in our lifetime, but I think
I'll be
it'll
parking
get
on
to
a
a certain
bridge
point
somewhere.
I think that at a certain point that yes, that most people will be driving EVs, but they're going to have to get the infrastructure in place. And once again, it's kind of like shots. Oh, you got to get your shot. No, I don't have to get my shot. I've had my shots personally.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's not a market-driven thing like it's been for the last 100 years.
You had your shots?
It's not market-driven.
Distemper.
I'm not my distemper shot.
Yeah, I have.
Rabies shot. Mm-hmm. All right. Time now for the racing calendar. Shall we do that? Are you ready for that?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay.
So this weekend, NHRA is practicing in Phoenix.
Yep.
And, if you follow Antron Brown, you can see that they're out there, and Force is out there, Schumacher's out there. All of these teams are out there getting some practice runs in. And then next weekend, they go to the Winter Nationals at Pomona, the 17th through the 20th of February. And then the 25th through the 27th, they go back to Arizona for the Arizona Nationals. And then March 10th through the 13th, the Gator Nationals in Florida. Formula One doesn't start until March, and they start in Bahrain in March 20th, and then March 27th in Saudi Arabia. Also March 20th, Sebring 12 hours, the IMSA track, and February 27th, IndyCars at St. Petersburg, Florida, and then March 20th will be IndyCars in Texas up in Fort Worth.
You lost your place or what?
No. Well, no, I'm thinking of Texas,
You're
and I was
thinking of
wanting to
Coda.
say Coda
Coda,
because we
yeah.
were talking about Coda
I
earlier.
saw it on your head.
And they need to run. IndyCars needs to run at Coda as well instead of just the circle track. They need to run the street
full
track.
circuit, yeah.
Look, stare at the light, and it'll help you sneeze. And then World Endurance Championship will also be in March in Sebring as well. And that's this week in racing.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Well, Daytona 500 is next weekend.
Yeah.
What is it? What is some? There's some racing going on this weekend.
Well, they're going to do Daytona qualifying, and then they're going to do the twin 125s, which is they're going to do pole position this weekend for Daytona, and then they're going to take their qualifying, and then they're going to run the twin 125s, and that's going to do the set the field for the Daytona 500.
You ever been to Daytona?
Nope.
Yep.
It's a bucket list place. I almost won a trip there with General Motors, but I got hosed.
If you ever get a chance, it's a very interesting place. It's on a boulevard. It's kind of like Indy, but the NASCAR version of Indy. Indy's in the middle of town.
Yeah.
And it used to be that the highway went right in front of the Indy 500, but since then they've upgraded the highway and moved it away from right there.
You actually take the boulevard in front of the Daytona to get to the beach.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you watch last week's race? I wasted time. I cannot get that time back. In the Coliseum.
I actually kind of enjoyed it, to be honest with you. I liked the qualifying, and I enjoyed it, although I did fall asleep when the big race was on and missed all the wrecks.
The only thing that would have made it worse is having Danica Patrick is on there. That would have been...
I didn't get to see it. I wanted to see it just to see what it was like.
I said it.
I watched it, but it was a little slow because there were too many
annoying.
wrecks.
Well, but the qualifying, there wasn't too many wrecks. They had, what did they have? Prop shaft failure that they're still looking at on the new next-gen cars. Apparently, it's kind of, somebody said, oh, well, the throttle cable fell off. Well, it doesn't have a throttle cable. These new cars are all drive-by-wire.
Fuel injection.
Yeah. And so we go
then they're independent rear suspension, which is all new. They have single nut wheels, which is straight off of IndyCar Formula One style.
I think
racing.
that's a positive. That's a positive thing, I think.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's time
I
for
like
that.
hearing the V as they had to pull the 5 on and the 5 off.
I know.
I mean, it made more skill in the pit as opposed to just hitting
I'm
one.
going to leave you a voicemail.
I don't know how I feel about that.
We'll see how the twin 125s.
How are
works.
they taking the one nut off the wheel?
One big air wrench.
Right. So what would really be, if you want to really mess it all up, let them have a lead hammer out there and hammer them on and off.
Like
Knockoffs.
they did in Le Mans back in the 60s.
Yeah.
That's how they should start a NASCAR race like that.
Oh,
Running across the track to get in.
They'd be too busy running each other over. Oh, look, there he is. I can take him out.
Get him.
They're taking each other out enough as it is.
Lord.
Yeah. Well,
Didn't like it.
I'm kind of anxiously looking forward to the racing season this year.
Right. Well, the duels at Daytona are going to be Thursday, February 17th. And then the Daytona 500 will be February 20th.
Yeah. Because, my youngest daughter went to Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University the first year out in school. And it sits right there next to the airport, which is also right next to the Daytona Speedway. Yeah. And she actually walked over to the Daytona Speedway to watch one of the races.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yeah, because she was staying at a dorm there.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was interesting. What are y'all doing over there?
I'm trying to keep ours.
I am snickering because I jumped over to Facebook to check something, and George wants to start a GoFundMe account. He got the Carfax on Conrad's his Rally 350, and it says the ignition switch is bad on it. So he wants to start a GoFundMe account to get enough money to replace the ignition switch, based on the Carfax, of course.
You see this look? You see that? You know what it's looking at? It's looking at you. You know why it's looking at you?
Babe.
You know why I'm looking at you?
Because I haven't messed with this in almost a year.
I know. You know the battery's dead.
Yep, the battery is dead.
Battery's dead. The tires are getting flat if they're not flat
No,
already.
they're not. Tires aren't flat.
But they do need to be replaced because they're 10 years old.
Well, they were 10 years old when I bought the car.
They were 10 years old 10 years ago.
So what is it that we can do to motivate you to get out there and fix the damn rally and so we can see the car again?
I think we should go with...
You know what we should do? We should do it remote there because you're the remote guy. You always want to do a remote in his driveway. We open the garage door and we can all see the tail end of the car under a big mound
Use
of
it
other crap.
as the backdrop.
Correct. And we can take some
It's under a
pictures.
car cover.
And we can
There's
take
nothing piled on top of it.
and we can take our
Then
pictures.
we can take it off easy.
We can take our pictures from the
Laying
back
on-
end of the car.
Laying on the hood.
And just for the hell of it, just to do it, we'll put one of the tires down on the ground so it looks like it's flat.
Well, I have Haggerty insurance, so they'll tow it for me. I figured that part out. So I need
Has that been the holdup?
no
Okay.
What
I
is
didn't
the
think
holdup?
so.
effort.
George?
There's no effort. Call Haggerty. Come and get the car and take it over to Joe Blow. Mm-hmm. And then, Joe Blow, I need to put the ignition switch in it. You don't have to do anything. It's 2 phone calls. For
Tub it
God's
out,
sakes.
throw an LS in it. Thank you, Joe.
Tub it out and throw an LS in it. I don't think so. Thanks, George. I appreciate you getting me trouble.
The In Wheel Time Car Show streams on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and InWheelTime.com. And podcasts are available, if you dare, on your favorite podcast channel. The In Wheel Time Car Show will continue after these brief messages. Stay with us.
Houston, we have a date.
Perfect.
Saturday, March 19th, 2022. It's the premiere of the all-new Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, and you are invited. Tailpipes and Tacos kicks off a new seasonal format, and first up is the Spring Cruise-In at the Lupi Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. Saturday, March 19th. Tailpipes and Tacos will award trophies for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, and Best Modern Classic, so make plans now. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest cruise-in, and this one brings it all together for Spring 2022. You'll enjoy seeing the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods, along with Lupi Tortilla breakfast tacos and adult beverages. There's no fee, and you can automatically compete for custom Lupi trophies. It all happens at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Get your ride ready for the all-new Spring Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, March 19th. Spectators are welcome. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there, too. Let's celebrate the arrival of spring and the return of Tailpipes and Tacos, March 19th. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching In Wheel Time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Wheel Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@inwheeltime.com. If you're in charge of your company's small, medium, or large business anywhere in the U.S., let the On Hold Company help you retain customers and promote your business on your telephone system. Promote special sales or company info when placed on hold. The On Hold Company provides custom on-hold messages with professional male or female voices, licensed background music with no long-term contract, no monthly recurring bill, and updates your messages as needed. Call the On Hold Company at 713-223-HOLD or go to onhold.net.
Welcome to In Wheel Time, your place for entertaining car talk. Just ahead, Bobby Sparkman talks hot rod tour of Texas. Well, we hope it's Bobby anyway. Conrad has his weekly lesson in the car clinic, and we'll have this week's automotive news. Howdy. Along with and
King Conrad.
And
We need more Jeff.
There you go.
And
Don't forget about David Ainsley.
Ainsley. Well, I'm sure that David's listening because he's already critiqued.
Yeah, he's texting me.
Is he texting you?
Yep.
So he's already critiqued my board skills over here.
or
Board
lack thereof.
Or lack thereof.
Did he?
Yeah. Well, you said that your level was low, which wasn't my fault because you had your microphone 10 feet away.
9:30 and he's up.
What are you eating over there, Mars?
A cough drop so I don't start coughing in your ear.
Well, that comes across really great.
Chew it.
So let's just move on, shall we?
Please.
Okay. So why don't we go over to
Bobby's not here yet. Morgan's here.
Morgan. All right, well, let's talk to Morgan.
Let's talk to Morgan with the Hot Rod Tour of Texas. Morgan, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, yeah, great. How are you doing?
All right. Just trying to stay out of this cold wind this morning.
Really? Where are you?
I'm in Central Texas, in Belton, north of Austin.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, you have a very interesting picture there with the.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, is that your wife that keeps flashing up there every once in a while?
Yeah, I had to turn off my camera for a minute to go get some more coffee. But yeah, that's me and my wife. We normally use this together for some other podcasts and other things.
She won't bring you a cup of coffee?
No, she's gone to a coffee shop with her friend to get fancy coffee.
Spend some money, huh?
Oh yeah. So
So
yeah, no.
how did you draw the short straw this morning? And is Bobby sleeping in or trying to sober up or what's the deal there?
I don't know. I'm looking on. He just posted about it on Facebook not long ago, so I know he's awake. He should be in any minute, I would imagine.
Well,
he said he would be here a little before 9:30. So.
Well, he didn't make it, and we don't really care because now we have this ghost image of you, and I kind of it's different. We like it.
Oh.
The hot rod tour of Texas. I'm excited. How are you involved with this?
So I've known Bobby. So my wife does pinstriping and everything like that, and she's done some artwork for him, and that's how we kind of met. And he bought a few shirts from me from my business. The background you see behind me there is the name of it, Texas Original Culture. And when he put the hot rod tour together, I messaged him. I was like, man, I'd love to help you with this because he's down in Victoria, close to Houston. And he said, yeah, come on. And we've, I guess you consider us good friends just mainly through social media. And then I met him in person for the first time a few weeks ago down in Bastrop at a car show. And so I help him with kind of planning, and I've put together a flyer. I've got to update that. I'm waiting on a couple logos. Kind of just helping them get it together.
Well, I wish somebody would get those other two hotel sites for the Saturday. Well, I guess it's Friday night and Saturday night. I've got reservations down there in Victoria. I was wondering why it was starting in Victoria. Well, now I know because Bobby lives down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it makes sense to go north. And so, we were originally planning on going up to Arlington. Yeah. And now I think we're ending in Hillsboro, roughly that area. Or not Hillsboro. Just south of Dallas. I can't think of the name. I'm looking it up.
And this is
it's going to be Roadside America Museum.
Oh, okay.
And that is in Hillsboro.
We've talked to them before.
Yes, we have.
We've had them on the show.
Yeah,
did a tour.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's better than Arlington because you can't get in the General Motors factory up there in Arlington. Mm-hmm. They won't let you in. So
plus you're just driving around in the city anyhow. So.
Yeah. So that's good. I'm all into that. And I know COVID screwed everything up, but I've also got my reservations. Well, I got my ticket actually to go to the drive-in.
So do we.
Yeah. And I understand that the sales of those tickets are going through the roof and going quick. Is it all sold out yet or no?
The last I checked, I think the total is 300. I want to say he said we were a little over 200 the last I saw numbers.
Yeah, that's really cool. So
and they do have the hotels up for Temple.
Oh, they do.
The Comfort Inn and Suites and the Hilton, I believe. And there is a post in the Facebook group about that.
Oh, okay, great. Well, I'm glad to hear that. That's in Temple.
And we live in Belton, so thankfully we don't have to get a hotel room for that stop.
Well, hell, I thought I was spending the night with you guys.
Oh boy.
Oh well, I don't know if we'll have room. We've got our first baby on the way, and we've already cleared out our guest room, getting ready for him. So.
Well, that's okay. I'll just stay in the car out in the front.
There you go.
How many do you have registered?
Run an extension cord out there.
How many do you have registered for the event?
That I'm not sure. That's a Bobby question.
Yeah, because I didn't register. Bobby said, "Just come on." I don't even know where to register.
Okay.
We don't really have a register per se. It's a come on and show up. The only registers are for the actual locations we're going to. Okay, and like the movie theaters, a limited thing, so they can only take 300. Right. But the others, as far as from what I've understood so far, is it's come on, come on.
Well, so give us the run through so we're going to start in Victoria on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And then
so
from
Friday,
there, what are we going to after that?
So let me get my list because I don't want to say it wrong to you. So the first stop, I believe, is in, gosh, I should know this, but I got so much stuff going on. So let's see.
Well, while you're looking,
in New Braunfels,
okay,
for the Stars and Stripes, and then we're going from there to the Shiner Brewery for you can have tours there. Be responsible, of course. It's a brewery, and we're going to be driving. Once we depart there, then we go to the show and sign at the drive-in where we'll be seeing American Graffiti.
Right.
Which actually, who our dog is named after, Milner.
Oh, cute.
I love it.
And, yeah. That was my wife's thing. That's her all-time favorite. So then we're going up to Temple to Little River Academy. Oh, I'm sorry. Before there is the Speeding Springs and Dripping Springs. They are kind of a new place. Have y'all heard of Hemi Hideout down in Katy?
Yeah, we're
absolutely.
good friends with John Hovis and the whole crowd there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like that's our dream. But Speeding Springs is kind of similar to that. They haven't really opened up for like events just yet, but they're kind of doing a similar thing. And then we go over to Little River to Dragway, just southeast of Temple, off 95, and we'll have a day of grudge racing, car show, look around at the other people's vehicles, good old time, and stay the night, in Temple. Then the next, I think there's supposed to be mini bike racing. Last I heard, that was a maybe.
Bring your mini bike?
Yeah, your little pit bikes, little, Honda 50s. And then we go up
Briggs and
to
Stratton ones.
There you go. Sorry.
So the Temple drag strip, and then what do we follow?
Mm-hmm.
How does we follow from that to where?
To Hillsboro.
To Hillsboro.
The Road Museum, yeah, that I mentioned a minute ago.
Yep.
Road America, I believe was the name of it.
Okay.
Let's see. And then I believe that's the final place since Arlington Summit Racing canceled on Arlington. So.
Oh,
yeah.
That's right. That's right. That's why you're going to Arlington, because of Summit Racing.
Yeah, and that because of COVID regulations, they backed out. So, but yeah, Roadside American Museum in Hillsboro. There will be a $10 cash donation for them if you do go to their location. We're trying to, according to my last message, we have another host that'll wrap up the tour at the House of Hot Rods. In
the House of Hot Rods.
Yes, it's a hot rod shop. Let me get to my email to get the town right, because it was a town I'm not familiar with. So I apologize. I should have been more prepared.
Yes, you should have. yes, you should have.
Yeah, we're working with Bobby to get him on here.
Yeah, good.
So well,
it's gonna be mad I'm ruining it.
No, you're not. You're doing fine. So it's going to be a good time. Now, apparently, there's going to be places that we're going to stop and eat, or do we bring bologna sandwiches with us?
So I know the Roadside American Museum. I believe they're going to have lunch there.
Okay.
And that's kind of what the $10 donations kind of be for, as far as I know, from what I've read, because that'll go towards the museum and local law enforcement on behalf of the museum is what the donations are for. And on the Little River Dragway, they have concessions on site. I think you're more than welcome. Every time I've ever gone out there on a Friday night, you're more than welcome to bring your own food. And as for Shiner, I'm sure they have, food trucks and vendors on site there at Shiner Brewery. So
do you know how many cars that you've got right now that are coming?
I would guess a lot. So there's almost 3,000 members in the group for the page, the Hot Rod Tour of Texas.
Yeah.
And I would say 8 out of 10 people have commented, said we're coming. So you can probably figure
Gosh, I would say at least 1,000 people.
See,
1,000 cars.
that's the number I was looking for when I said how many are registered. That's the number.
Yeah.
It might turn into, a solid line of cars from city to city.
Well, I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to take off work on Thursday. And,
yes, we're taking off Fridays.
And,
so.
then that'll give me time to clean up the car and leave Houston before all of the traffic.
Oh, good idea.
And get down there because it's a couple of hours, I think, to Victoria from where I live. And, and so I'll be there on Thursday evening, and I would imagine there'll be some sort of a gathering of somewhere around there at the hotel parking lot.
Yeah, and you'll see other people in town cruising around as well, looking for trouble.
Well, I'm beyond that. I don't want to bring any trouble with me. But
that's why I'm not going.
And then we I think head out at 8:00 on Friday morning, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. And head up to Shiner.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Get a little beer
which
early
should be
in the
a gorgeous
morning.
drive.
I'm not a big beer drinker, but when I do,
Ooh-wee.
I do. I will
drink a Shiner.
A Shiner Bock, yeah. That's my pleasure.
Well, that's what you have in the fridge here. Yeah.
I don't ever drink it. Yeah. It's aging well in there.
Good.
But it's going to be an absolute scream. I can't wait. And it's the end of April 29th, I believe.
And it's the inaugural Hot Rod Tour of Texas.
Yeah,
very first.
Yeah.
So good
Hopefully
place
the first
to start.
Of many.
That's right. I'll have my dash plaque. Remember those?
Oh, yeah.
If you attended some sort of an event, at least you got a dash plaque.
I have my Woody's dash plaque.
Do you have your Woody's dash plaque? Mm-hmm. Well, aren't you something? And what, you took the car home and then that won't start again?
That's been parked in the garage ever since.
Yeah. Well, Morgan, it's great to talk to you. I look forward to.
Oh, y'all too.
I look forward to meet. Is your wife going with us?
Yes, we'll be down there on Thursday night. We'll get there, check into our hotel. Just look for the big white '64 Polara. Looks like a race car.
All right. Well,
so when's the baby due?
June 18th.
Woo!
Whoa. That's kind of cutting it close, isn't it?
So she's going to be pregnant on the tour.
But they're getting the room ready.
But if it's a Polara, they could have the baby in the back seat.
True.
And everything could be just fine.
Four doors.
Four-door Polara.
Put a little bassinet from the roll bar and be happy.
That's right. Well, it's great talking to you, man. I look forward to meeting you and your wife, and we're going to have a great time. And
certainly, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so let's touch base and tell Bobby, that really, dude, come on.
Bobby's listening.
Yeah, he's trying to get in. For some reason, we've got a miscommunication.
Well, imagine that.
It's Mars's fault. It's not Sparkman's fault. It's Mars.
Exactly.
This is his brainchild.
Yeah, I know. and we're all just trying to help him along here.
But at least we got Morgan to talk to us.
That's it.
There you go.
Hey, thank you, brother. It's good to talk to you. We'll see you soon.
You're welcome. Thank you all.
All right, Morgan, with Hot Rod Tour of Texas. I'm ready. Well, kind of.
I wish I could go.
Getting
I
wound
really do.
up.
I mean, this is going to be fun.
I'm going to try and get some sort of new headlights on the Corvette, because that stuff that's on there now, I don't know how else to put it. It just sucks.
Going to get some LEDs.
Well,
maybe?
and I've got the halogens on there now, and they just don't cut it. I don't know what I'm going to do.
I put LEDs in my truck, and I don't know that it's brighter, but I know that the change in the color of the light makes a lot of difference.
Yeah, because LEDs are much whiter versus halogens, which tend to be
here's the other issue. The headlights need to be adjusted in the car.
Ooh, yeah.
Because it's got one cyclops eye of light in front of the car, and this just doesn't cut it. So I've got to find somebody or a white wall at night that's dark, and I can get my measuring tape out there and do all of the diagrams on the wall. And
you don't need a measuring tape. You get a white wall, you park in front of it, make sure you're flat, and you get out the screwdriver and you adjust the lights up and down.
Yep.
And in and out.
But you have to be a certain distance from the wall.
But it don't matter whether they're high or low, so long as you adjust them even.
Well, thank you for all of that information. You're very helpful, but no, I'm not going to do it that way.
I agree. He's going to get on that white wall. He's going to get out the black marker.
No, I'm
and
not.
He's going to start drawing on the wall the ups and downs and the lines and everything.
No,
and
that
then,
would be something that you would do.
And then the cop's going to show up and arrest him.
No, it's not going to work that way at all.
Change your wiper blades, too, before you go.
Yeah. Well, the wiper blades are just fine.
Okay. That's what they say until it rains.
Well,
used to, when you get your car inspected, they would check them. And if they were off, they would adjust them.
Those wiper blades?
No, he's talking about
the headlights.
Talking about headlights.
Oh, they don't do that anymore.
I know.
I actually tried to get a hold of Carolina to get her to do it. They don't have a headlight machine. Nobody has a headlight machine anymore.
Nope.
What the hell happened? Why not? It was all so important back in the 70s and 80s.
Well, I think
and now all of a sudden it's not important anymore.
But I think like on my truck, I don't think there's really an adjustment because the whole unit goes into it.
Oh,
and comes out.
There's an adjustment.
There's adjustments.
You adjust the whole. It adjusts the whole head. You can adjust the head up and down and in and out.
So just reaching in there and taking the bulb loose and
doesn't.
That's the Neaterville way of doing it.
You'll see some adjustment screws.
Well, I haven't found them yet, but
Small
that's okay.
Phillips head.
Time now for Conrad's Car Clinic. By golly, let's move on and do something like that.
Please.
Well, let's talk about 10 driving tips to stay safe on the road.
Oh, perfect timing.
Number 1, always, always, always wear a seatbelt.
Duh.
Well, you say duh. I still see people out there driving around that don't have a seatbelt
Well, I
on.
see their kids in the back
and I
seat
just wanna
flopping
slap
around.
them.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, like seriously.
Shouldn't we go 10 to 1 rather than 1 to 10?
Okay, we'll go 10 to 1. Take a defensive driving course. Educate yourself and a family member about the importance of safe driving. Enroll in a defensive driving course like Drive Safe. And then not only will it teach you the good habits of driving, it'll also give you a discount on your insurance. So you can usually get about 10% off on your discount.
And it'll also get you out of a ticket most of the time.
Well, if you need to take that for defensive driving as well, they used to do the comedy clubs.
Hated that.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it was terrible.
I took a few of them.
I'll bet you did. It is all because of speeding.
Once a year. Keep a spare tire and a working jack in your car and know how to use them. Tires are one of the most important parts of your vehicle, and they can go flat anytime.
I don't have a spare tire in my car.
Do you have Inflate-A-Spare?
No.
You got run flats. That's right. Knowing how to change your tire is valuable when you're stranded out in the middle of nowhere and no cell phone service. Always stop for school buses when their lights are flashing or the stop signs are extended. School bus laws are made to protect the children. If these laws are ignored, it can result in an expensive ticket, license suspension, injury to a child, and confiscation of your vehicle. And I live in a neighborhood with lots of schools, and I still can't believe how many people blow past school buses. And I'm sitting there, I'm honking my horn because I just think it's insane. Now, if you're on a divided highway with an island in the middle, you don't have to stop. But everything else, you need to stop for a stop school bus when that stoplight's extended.
There's an apartment near the house that has 4 lanes of traffic on Highway 6. The first 2 lanes stop, and that last one's still going.
That's wrong.
Just like,
That's
exactly.
wrong. Give pedestrians the right of way in the crosswalk. Respect pedestrians crossing the road. Don't block crosswalks when you're stopped at an intersection. You don't want to put the pedestrian at risk of having to walk around your vehicle, and then all of a sudden you start moving and you're running them over in the process. Avoid driving when you're exhausted. Driving when you're tired is incredibly dangerous for you and everyone else on the road. If you feel sleepy while you're driving, just pull over and take a quick little nap. 5-10 minutes will really boost you up and get you back on the road. Find the nearest rest stop or other safe place to take a little power nap. Mm-hmm. Well, number 5 says don't speed. But boy, I don't think any of us follow
that. I think that's the pot calling the kettle black.
Especially on that end of the table.
Number 4 says make adjustments for weather conditions. So if you have a 2-hour drive ahead of you and it's raining real hard, give it 2.5 hours. Make that adjustment so you're not having to speed through bad weather conditions. Never drive under the influence of alcohol, drugs, or medication. If you take some medications that give you a woozy feeling, find somebody else to drive. Find a designated driver. And then, again, never under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Do not drive distracted. Get off your phone. I have hands-free on my phone, and I use it to talk to people. But if people start texting me, I don't even reply anymore. I don't even pay any attention to it. I can tell Siri to read the text to me and respond via verbal text. I don't even do that. If they're texting me, I get a chance to stop, I'll go ahead and text back. But way too many people are texting on the phone. You catch them all the time at the stoplights, and you're waiting for the green light, and the light turns green, and they're still staring at their phone. That's when I honk. But I don't honk too much anymore because I think way too many people.
Please don't do that.
Way too many people are getting shot.
Exactly.
Or you could text them back after you wake up from your power nap.
Or from my dirt nap because they shot me. And then again, always wear a seatbelt. Those are 10 driving tips to stay safe on the road.
Thank you so much for that. I have a few stories making headlines this week. Just as Punxsutawney Phil, which is the stupidest thing I think I've ever seen.
Groundhog Day.
Yeah. Last week saw his shadow and predicted a lingering winter. January's U.S. light vehicle sales signaled no imminent relief from the semiconductor-related woes that have dogged automakers for nearly a year now. New vehicle deliveries slid another 9% to just more than 1 million last month. According to LMC Automotive, as continued chip shortages suppressed production and drove up prices, of the 7 automakers that report monthly sales, only Hyundai recorded a gain. Dealer inventory last month fell 61% from January 2021 levels, resulting in 1.2 million fewer cars and light trucks available at the start of 2022 compared with early 2021, Cox Automotive said.
And I think everybody would agree because you drive past these dealer lots and they're empty.
That helped propel average transaction prices to a January record of almost $45,000 per vehicle on average.
Wow.
That's a lot of dough.
It's an increase in the price of cars.
Tesla received another subpoena from the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission about a subject that keeps coming up, and that is CEO Elon Musk's tweeting in 2018 that he was considering taking the car maker private. The SEC issued the subpoena November 16th, seeking information about Tesla's governance processes and compliance with a settlement reached with the agency in September of 2018, the company said in a regulatory filing. Tesla had agreed to put in place controls to oversee Musk's communications, including his tweets, after the SEC alleged Musk committed securities fraud by saying he had secured funding for the company to go private. Can't do that. That tweeting thing, it got Trump in trouble. It's getting this guy in trouble. Stop the tweeting. Is that really necessary?
And get off your phone.
And get off your damn phone. There, I said it.
Elon, I love him.
I do, but really,
Mike's getting a hold of him.
Mike's getting a hold of him now.
Yeah.
Mike's in another world. And he came in this morning in another world. We don't really know what's going on. It has something to do with the fumes over there in Neaterville.
All the refineries.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was saying. Consumers clearly want to spend less time buying a car or truck. A new survey of dealership leaders and consumers found that transaction times can be extended by inefficient processes and technology hangups such as retyping information. Consumers clearly want to spend less time buying a car or truck. New survey of dealership leaders and vehicle buyers being released on Monday, February 7th suggests that improving dealerships' processes can help mitigate some of those friction points, in turn reducing transaction times, and dealers are open to making changes, according to the findings. Waiting is still the biggest pain point for consumers, the survey found, with roughly 4 in 10 buyers saying They waited at the dealership for some reason, such as to meet a sales employee or someone in the finance office. About 61% of shoppers who responded said they waited at least a half an hour to meet with the finance and insurance manager. It's the dumbest thing.
That's nothing.
Well,
because the time to buy a vehicle is much less now than it was 5 years ago.
God, it's still it drives me insane.
It used to be you'd go in to buy a car at a dealership, and this is back when they had 1,000 units in inventory. You'd go outside and you pick one out, and you'd still be 2 or 3 hours before you get off the property trying to buy one. It's I hate to say it's the game, but it's a bit of the game. Where now they've really cut that time down by comparison, because they do so much online purchasing and online delivery, where you can be at the Carvana or whoever it is, and they'll just deliver the car to you. It's actually much better than it was, even though there's still.
It's a way to upsell too through the finance.
Right. Well,
that's all it is. Basically, that's the game. Upsell you.
Credit life, all the other stuff they want you to buy.
Gap insurance. Do you really need the floor mats?
Yes, you need the floor mats.
Why do you need the floor mats? That's a whole subject that we're going to get into.
Well,
why do you need floor mats?
Why do you have to pay for them?
Well,
you buy a car with carpet in it to cover it up.
I'd rather put a hole or dirt on a floor mat than on a $1,000 piece of carpet.
Okay.
Kathy's actually had hers replaced.
To replace the carpet, just because you wear it from the way you rub your heel on it, a floor mat is easier to replace than a piece of carpet and much cheaper.
She actually wore the little rubber strip through that.
Time now for a quick break here on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. We'll be back after these brief messages.
He said strip.
Houston, we have a date. Saturday, March 19th, 2022. It's the premiere of the all-new Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, and you are invited. Tailpipes and Tacos kicks off a new seasonal format, and first up is the Spring Cruise-In at the Lupe Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m., Saturday, March 19th. Tailpipes and Tacos will award trophies for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, and Best Modern Classic, so make plans now. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest cruise-in, and this one brings it all together for spring 2022. You'll enjoy seeing the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods, along with Lupe Tortilla breakfast tacos and adult beverages. There's no fee, and you can automatically compete for custom Lupe trophies. It all happens at the Lupe Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Get your ride ready for the all-new Spring Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, March 19th. Spectators are welcome. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there, too. Let's celebrate the arrival of spring and the return of Tailpipes and Tacos March 19th. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching In Wheel Time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Wheel Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@nwheeltime.com. If you're in charge of your company's small, medium, or large business anywhere in the U.S., let the On Hold Company help you retain customers and promote your business on your telephone system. Promote special sales or company info when placed on hold. The On Hold Company provides custom on-hold messages with professional male or female voices, licensed background music with no long-term contract, no monthly recurring bill, and updates your messages as needed. Call the On Hold Company at 713-223-HOLD or go to onhold.net.
Welcome to In Wheel Time, your place for entertaining car talk. Coming up, Mike Mars. Remember him? Reviews our new car of the week, the 2022 Honda Civic. Plus, we'll have the upcoming events calendar along with the author of What Cars Say, Rachel Alfonso. Then later, what's wrong? What happened, Mars? Did you give me the wrong information again?
No, it is, but the book that I was going to bring because it didn't get here in time for last week is setting...
Could you pull your microphone up so we can hear you?
No, I don't want anybody to hear what I did.
What did you do?
I left the book at home.
Oh, duh. I have no information on this, so it's all going to be on you.
This is going on your permanent
It's all on today's In Wheel Time Car Talk. I don't even want to say what show this is anymore. I don't know what happened today. I did all of my parts that I thought I was going to do just right, and somehow, some way, it all came crashing down. So I don't know what happened. Maybe you could explain it to us.
Yeah, we're lost in the fog.
I'm not.
It was foggy coming over here.
But we're making very good time.
Yeah, it's like, can this be over any sooner?
No.
Yeah, no, we got another hour to go.
Well, we have to stay 18 minutes past because
No, we don't.
We
No,
didn't
hell
start
no.
18
No,
minutes.
we
We all
doing
have
that.
to stay after 18 minutes.
Yeah, we
Is
have
that
to
thing
stay
still
18
running?
minutes.
Uh-huh. Says it is. Here, why don't you want to take that over there and see if...
No, I don't, because it's attached to that, and that's down there, and...
You see, up till about 2 weeks ago, I didn't have any of this in front of me that I had to worry about. I just had to worry about this. Now I've got this, and this doesn't work. So,
Well, part of it
does work,
Part of it does.
but we don't know how.
and if you're wondering what this is, it's something that
It's broke.
we're not ready to announce just yet. And
We're working on it.
And we may not ever announce it because it just...
We haven't got it right yet.
This may all be gone next week.
This is the third week in a row that we haven't gotten to this thing to work. So
It's
just don't even say anything anymore. What are you doing now?
I'm trying to find out why
It's broke.
I can't hear it
Oh, well,
now. All of a sudden,
well, that's what Ainsley's out there for. He'll tell us what's
I
going
changed some stuff over here for Mr. Ainsley, and it shouldn't have affected that. But
on. Apparently it did.
Apparently it did.
See, we haven't gotten this right yet. Once
We
go
haven't
on the
gotten this
air-
right in 10 years. Are you kidding me?
Once we go on the air, stop making adjustments. Just live with it. This is how it. Because if we get on the air, we're good.
Well, my take is that, look, it worked last week for 3 solid hours. Why do we have to come in here after everything is shut down and everything, just leave it like it is, then we just turn it back on and when it works? But no, we got to come in here and jack with this. Well, I need a new power cable there. Why is this over here going over there?
Well, I
it
haven't
worked
turned the
last week,
power
so just
on
leave
over
it
here.
alone.
Yeah. Well, it's a learning experience.
It is.
Amazon.
It's this is kind of like
if we had some,
you don't have any.
if we had some 14-year-olds in here taking care of our technology,
We do.
We'd
Here
go to
they
jail
all
for
are.
that. We could go to jail for that.
Okay, so let's if we had some 18-year-olds in here working on our technology, it might work.
No. But
too old.
all of it would have to be stripped out of here, laid out on the driveway, and say, we need that, and we need this, and we,
We
need
could do that. Next week's show, we'll lay it all out.
We might as
I
well.
need to do that to
We'll
my
all
garage.
just strip down and lay out there on the driveway.
Now there's an idea.
So I got it back. Thank you.
God.
All right.
And this guy is he used to work for Ma Bell. And so you'd think that he would have
Communications and
some sort of skills with wires and things. Did you ever climb poles?
Sadly, yes.
He did.
Fell off of one once.
Did you?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's the
On his
reason.
head.
There you go.
Did you ever dance on a pole?
Did you ever make money?
No.
Paul?
Were
But you made money
Were they wood or brass?
The brass ones were a little tougher to climb.
Were they?
They're cold.
And cold too.
And cold, yes.
My gosh.
This is kind of like the boys' club back in my day. We'd get together on a Friday, and somebody would bring beer.
Uh-oh. That's,
Yeah.
And there were some cigarettes
Yeah, it's a
involved.
gateway. There's a gateway.
And we'd all kind of sit in the garage and talk about how all the money that we're going to spend on a car that we were going to build, that we had no money to buy a car, and just
Yeah, the
talk about
dreams.
cars. This is kind of like that,
We have dreams.
Conrad.
I'm not going to say anything because it'll just get me in trouble again.
Because yes, it will.
Again.
Would you like us to go ahead and make that phone call for you? No, better yet, Jeff and I will come over to your house after the show today.
Well, we got to get ready to do the remote over there.
And we'll get on the phone and we'll call Haggerty and say, Haggerty, we need to have a wrecker come over here to Conrad's house and drag the car out of the garage and take it to where we're going to take it to. One of your friends that you know that has a garage that he is going to be able to change out the ignition switch in the 70. Is it a 70?
Yes.
In the 70 Oldsmobile. And then it'll start running after you get another new battery and pump some air in the tires. You're ignoring me.
Yes, I am.
He is.
What are you doing
It's
over
not
there?
doing me any good to ignore you either.
No, it's not, because this is going to keep on going until you get the car fixed. You should be going on the Hot Rod Power Tour with me in the Oldsmobile.
And then who would be here to run the show?
We don't care. Leave it up to these two.
Oh, yeah, that's worked well with the four of us here. now just leave the two of them here.
We can handle it, Mike.
Yeah, we can handle it.
We'd be on the air by 10 o'clock.
So if you missed it, in the 8 o'clock hour, I did a review on the Wagoneer. Well, only months after reviving the Wagoneer and Grand Wagoneer, parent company Jeep, who doesn't have their name on the Wagoneer, is preparing to challenge extended wheelbase rivals from GM and Ford with elongated variants that could be even more profitable for the company. A spy photographer spotted one of the lengthened Jeeps covered in camouflage during a road camouflage during a road test in the Detroit area last month. The models are expected to reach the market later this year, according to Dave Kelleher, the 2021 chairman of the Stellantis National Dealer Council. This is from Automotive News. While mid-size crossovers get the job done for many consumers, Drury said there are still enough shoppers who need the extra space of a longer wheelbase 3-row model.
Yep.
The extended Wagoneer is considerably bigger than the current models, which are nearly 18 feet long.
Wow.
And speaking of Stellantis, Ram is looking to connect with fans as the brand readies an electric Ram 1500 for 2024. The truck brand is launching an insider program called Ram Revolution, where people can share input as the electric pickup is developed and get updates on the upcoming vehicle. RamRevolution.com will serve as the program's hub. The brand released 2 images Tuesday of a 1500 EV concept that is being created with customer input. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, but Ram has always asked for customer input on their vehicles.
They have.
You know, to my opinion,
And so is Jeep.
More so than GM does.
Yeah, that's just part of the way they run their business is really to try and get the customers' input in.
And aren't we going to have Mike Koval on soon?
Hopefully next week. He's committed to next week. Yes.
Well, Ram brand CEO Mike Koval said in a statement that the Ram Revolution campaign will allow Ram to gather meaningful feedback from fans and understand their wants and needs and address their concerns, ultimately allowing us to deliver the best electric pickup truck on the market with the Ram 1500 BEV. Battery electric vehicle.
Yeah.
The Camp Jeep experience, which has been part of the Chicago show since 2005, will feature an even steeper and much bigger hill than in the past and be able to handle 50,000 pounds more freight, according to the automaker. The course's mountain will be 28 feet, which is 10 feet higher than last year. Camp Jeep in Chicago will also grow by 4,000 square feet this year.
Wow.
And does it say indoor or outdoor? Because the one in Houston was pretty big.
Well,
Yeah, but I think the
they
one in
can't do it
Houston's
that
restricted
Houston.
by the ceiling.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is it indoor or outdoor? Because you could.
Well, but
limits.
Chicago's got some places where they've got room, and I can't remember which floor it is, but they brought cars in there before that we could drive around inside that building.
It's got square footage, but I don't know as if it's got room for 28 feet of track, and then you add another 10 feet at least
for the vehicle.
for the height.
Right.
That's 38 feet in the air.
I bet there's that one room I've got in mind. I'll bet it will.
Maybe so.
I think they had like 40 cars.
Well, apparently it does if they're announcing it.
in there. Yeah.
It works.
Yeah. Detroit Auto Show moving to the summer. and making an event out of it. And I think that it's going to kind of coincide with the Woodward Dream Cruise.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it's going to be butted up against it or something. Yeah. It's going to be a car festival. What?
Yeah, they were talking about actually doing it kind of like right in front of Woodward, so that they can get a lot of it. But it's going to be like a week to 10 days. Now, this is before COVID, whenever we were up there and they were showing us their little model of how the whole city practically is going to be involved. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a pretty neat deal.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but Woodward doesn't start at Cobo.
No, it doesn't.
I mean, it's in a totally
what is it, like
different,
28 miles long or something?
Yeah, about that.
It's in a totally different part of the city. It's all in the, I'll say, the central western part of the city.
It was the first.
Yeah, but I think
the way
they're incorporating all the parks and stuff. I mean, this is almost the whole downtown area at the time.
Well, there's always a
festival. They were going to have bands.
That's good, yeah.
And basically, it was going to be a combination of cars and music festival and a food festival. And
Woodward is the first paved street in America. Yep.
He knows. He's from there.
Yeah.
Been on a few cruises.
It goes forever, doesn't it? Didn't it?
Not really forever. But it goes a ways.
I thought it goes all the way to Pontiac.
I don't know the exact mileage, but
or Oakland.
Yeah, it goes
Pontiac.
a long ways, though. It's almost like
Oakland
a highway.
County.
Yeah.
I would like to go to that one time, the Woodward Dream Cruise.
Oh, for sure.
Maybe we can get the Oldsmobile up there.
Okay.
Will the record go that far?
Did you get a hold? Oh.
My question is, though, I looked into that one time, when we were kind of halfway talking about maybe doing a remote from up there, but it's so long, and there's so many different things going on. There's like
each little city has their own event.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Where do you go to? You can't get to all of it.
And all of the parking spaces are for hire. There ain't no free parking on Woodward Dream Cruise.
Yeah.
General Motors and Ford and Chrysler and Summit. And
there's vendors out there in the empty lots. There'll be a vendor.
Yeah,
and
right. Well, they rent those lots.
Yeah.
Well, they do. And Jefferson Bryant went a couple of years ago, took his family up there, and actually made a trip in a minivan with Chrysler. Went up there, but they had made arrangements. Of course, Chrysler helped him get into the stuff they had, but he knew some people that were doing. You could basically buy a ticket and get up on these rooftops and watch the cars go by and watch everything that was going on.
The best part
That's
of
what
it is the vehicle, is the way you look at the cars, because there are things that roll by that you haven't seen in a long time. I remember one of those, or gee whiz, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's the highlight of the show.
Vendors or
whatever.
I think,
which part do you go to?
Since we can't get this right here, I think what we need to do is we need to do a remote up there.
Yeah.
And if we can't do it at the
Nobody
Woodward...
know any difference if you screwed it up.
Exactly. And I'm thinking that, I'll bet you that Ken Lingenfelter would let us do it out there at his place. Just saying.
You have a connection?
I know him.
And I've got a brother-in-law that lives up there. We could probably stay at his
The guy down the street from me's got one of his Corvettes.
Yep. There you go.
So we have all these connections.
To Lingenfelter. You ever been up there?
Mm-mm.
Oh, my God. So General Motors, when they have people in town and they want to have a dinner or they want to have a car event, they have it out at Lingenfelter's. Because he's got a huge warehouse in the back of his factory up there. And in there he has almost all, I would say 95% are GM vehicles.
Oh, yeah. He's long history of GM.
And he has some of the most unique cars. He's got show cars that General Motors made that he somehow gathered up and has. And the one that impressed me of all of the cars, a couple of them. One was a Saturn Sky. Remember Pontiac made one?
Yeah, Solstice, and Saturn made the Sky.
And so he said it didn't have enough power. Well, you give Ken Lingenfelter the opportunity, he's going to make it have enough power. So he dropped a great big huge V8 in that car. He said, it's really fast if you can get the power to the ground, but the problem is you can't even touch the accelerator pedal because the car weighs nothing. He said, I took my daughter to school, dropped her off in the carpool line, and they thought that I was out peeling out, and I could barely get the car to move because you can't touch the accelerator pedal.
Just the idle surge.
Yes.
Chirps the tires.
Doesn't he have a Levi Gremlin? When he the original Levi Gremlin?
No, I don't know about that. But he does have.
He's got a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
he has a dark green Vista Cruiser 70 model Cutlass with a LSA supercharged V8 in it. Stunningly beautiful car.
When he took us on the tour up there,
Station wagon.
the one that obviously grabbed my attention was the '54 Corvette. All original. It never was sold. It was a Chevrolet deal, and I can't remember the name of the supercharger company. It's somebody that's still in business today.
Paxton.
Probably. And so they took the Blue Flame 6-cylinder engine in it and supercharged it. And the reason that they did it was because they were trying to figure out a way to not put a V8 in it. Well, and it ultimately the next year had a V8 in it. And this is a one-off car, and instead of the script on the nose of the car that says Corvette, it said supercharged.
Oh, cool.
And you open the hood, I mean, it looks like it came from the factory, which it did. All of the stuff that was custom made for the car looked like it just rolled off the assembly line. It was absolutely beautiful. White with the red leather, typical.
Part of his collection.
Yeah.
He's got
and if you've
quite a collection
if you've ever seen an early model Corvette, the thing about it that just blows your mind is that you can actually see the fiberglass under the paint.
Mm-hmm.
And today you'd go because it had no gel coat on it. There was no coating on the outside of the.
No thickness.
There was no thickness. It was just that, and it looked like a plaid. Something wrong underneath the paint.
Because you can see the pattern and the material of the fiberglass.
Of the cloth. Yeah, of the cloth fiberglass. It's truly amazing. I saw the third Corvette ever made, and it came to a Corvette show here. This is years ago when I first got into the Corvette thing, and I was shocked. Of course, it had no roll-down windows. They were flaps.
Right.
And some of the stuff that was on there just really blew my mind.
How poorly the car was made.
Yeah, well, I think most cars were made pretty poorly back in those days. The other thing that I just saw an article about a 63 split window coupe going for an unbelievable amount of money. And I remember when that car came out and people hated that split window. And as a matter of fact, somewhere over there in the pile of pictures that I've got in here, I've got a picture with me and Zora Arkus Duntov, the father of the Corvette. And we asked him, and he had a very heavy German accent. And we asked him, so what's the deal with the 1-year split window coupe? And he said, we had no intention of making the split window coupe. It was always intended to be one solid piece of glass. Mm-hmm. But I think it was LOF that was doing the glass at the time, or
couldn't produce it.
They couldn't. Yep. They couldn't make the curvature of it because it was basically one of those kind of things that fit in there, and it'd always break. And so until they perfected the technology to make the glass to go in the back as one solid piece, the only thing that they could do is make it in two pieces with the spine down the middle of it. And I remember vividly that car was hated. Nobody wanted that car because it had that split in it. But then all of a sudden...
And some people were taking it out.
Yes, they took it out as soon as the 65 came out.
64. Yeah.
64 came out. And and now, oh my God.
So desirable.
Yeah. Millions of dollars.
I think the one you're talking about was a 63... 327, 340 sold at Barrett Jackson for like $390,000.
Yeah. It was almost $500,000. Yeah. It was crazy.
Yeah, that last auction, it was stupid money.
Oh, they spent some bucks on that.
The other thing is, and Craig has a GT, a Ford GT, that he has owned for years. Have you seen the price of the Ford GT comeback car?
The
$500,000 now.
Yeah, to start.
The Heritage, the 2005, 2006 Heritage, one of them sold for $790,000. It had 120 miles on it.
Unbelievable.
Crazy money.
Crazy money.
Crazy
and
money.
I like the car. I remember, Mars, did you go to the ride and drive that they had up in the hill country? That they debuted that car to the working press?
No,
I was there and got to drive it. Of course, there was a Ford person sitting in the seat, so you wouldn't spin it out or do crazy things with it. But
like people did with the Vipers.
Well, like people do with the new Corvette
Yeah.
that I've had scheduled to get to drive twice.
But they've wrecked it.
They've wrecked it. Some moron in the press corps. I even hate to even call
Or
myself
the
that.
Blackwing CTSV. Whew, nice car.
It's truly crazy that these people get these cars and they wreck them. They don't know how to drive them. And I'll tell you, and I told you this, that CT5 that I had, the Blackwing, it scared me.
Yeah,
And
you did say that.
And thank God for traction control. Because it was on a lot when you get on it.
He tells me that as I'm driving with him. This thing scares me.
It does. I'm really not. I don't think that I'm skilled enough to be able to drive that car in any form.
It's a nice car, though.
So did you hear that Alan Clark, a top engineer with Tesla for the past 12 years, is now working at Ford Motor Company? Ford snuck him out of Tesla.
That. Yeah.
They snuck him out Thursday, and he's become a key player in the Advanced Electric Vehicle Development Department, reporting to Doug Field, another former Tesla engineer who joined Ford in September and now runs the Advanced Technology Embedded Systems.
Yeah, dude.
So they are robbing Tesla to help their EV programs.
Well, you might as well.
Yeah. Time now for the events calendar. And I know that we've got events coming up.
Yep. So, of course, Hot Rod Tour of Texas. Tonight, Nifty 50s, Lover's Lane Cruise in the Woodlands.
Cool.
Is that's usually Randy's kickoff of the season is Valentine's Day event. Also tonight is the Show Some Love F-Body meet at Otto's Barbecue up here at the Fountains. So you can bring your F-Body or your Y-Body or whatever body you have, Don.
I got a hot body.
Yeah, gosh. Hot Rods, Hot Dogs, and Fellowship at Mid-County Baptist Church in Nederland, Texas.
Neaterville.
And that is
All right, that's right.
You're going to go to
right
church
there off the drag.
You're going to
February
go
26th.
You're going to go and get some church in you?
I might.
You will not.
You do need it.
You need it today. That's
you said
for sure.
some words earlier that you need it.
Yes.
The Classic Car Stampede, Saturday, March 12th. And that's from 9 to 1 p.m. in Belleville, Texas, at 30 South Holland Street in Belleville. It's actually a big event. The APA Saturday at the Strand, March 19th, and that's down in Galveston. Hello. That's down in Galveston. And then also March 19th is the Central Texas Rolling Car Show in Leander. On March 26th at 10 a.m. is the Lamar Consolidated Independent School District Auto Show and Auto Fest at their natatorium in Rosenberg.
The natatorium.
The natatorium is their swimming
area.
I understand that, but I don't. That seems like it doesn't go together with the car show.
Well, it's got a big parking lot. And
it's going to be in the parking lot and not in the natatorium.
Not in the pool. Yeah, not in the pool. And then finally, April 9th, Luby's in Lake Jackson is going to have their second annual car and truck show, and that's at 125 Westway, Lake Jackson, Texas.
Thank you. Yep. Time now for this hour's car review. Mr. Mars had the Honda Civic. What's a Honda Civic like these days?
Well, I want to tell you, it's not the same Civic that, whenever we were a little bit younger, at least some of us were a little bit younger, and you were looking at your first car.
It's not your father's Civic.
Yeah, exactly.
You have no right to be a jerk to me after all the crap that you've put me through today.
Well,
he's still not
done.
That's
the only thing I can do at the moment.
Done.
So absolutely, like everything else, the cars have gotten bigger. The Civic has gotten bigger. So we're talking about the 2022 Honda Civic, and we had the 1.5 four-door touring sedan. Now, I didn't know this, but it is the 11th generation of the Honda Civic. Comes in 5 trim levels, LX Sport, EX Touring, and the SI. We had the Touring level, so it's not really the top, but it's pretty close. And so this is a small sedan that you can also get in
It's not small.
It's not.
Well,
It looks
it's
nice.
considered a small sedan. They don't want
That's a big car.
compacts and all that stuff.
It's bigger than the original Honda Accord was.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. You can also get it in a hatchback that's available with a 6-speed manual. That's the only place you can get it, a manual in this. It's been redesigned for 2022. It's got a lot more simpler. You know, last year, everybody was doing all the big swoopy lines and the over-exaggerated stylings on these small cars. Mm-hmm. They've gone back to something that's a little simpler, and to me, it's a little more elegant. It's just got a better look to it, to me, than it does. You're going to find the automatic headlights, the LED lighting that's all the way around on this thing, including the fog lights. It's got rain-sensing wipers, heated power side mirrors. Got a one-touch power moonroof, and it rolls on some 18-inch alloy wheels. So when you look at this thing, it's not the small economy vehicle that, you used to get, even though it's still kind of in that setting. You get onto the inside, and it's even more how it's changed. It's got leather trimmed seats. It's got a Bose premium audio system with 12 speakers on it. It's got a 9-inch touchscreen sitting up there on the dash. It's got a 60/40 folding rear seat that's even got a center console that folds down on it. So when you start looking at the content they put into these vehicles, it's really changed a lot. Now, you get up under the hood. Oh, one thing I wanted to point out, too. Right here, it's got touch buttons on the top left-hand side where you've got the 2 touch buttons and stuff. It's not just a touch screen, but there's actually 2 buttons hidden in that black, and you can tell when you push them that there are buttons there, and I think that's the greatest thing they could have done for this. Touch screen is the important place. You've got buttons instead of just the touch screen. So back to the power under the hood. It's a 1.5-liter turbo inline 4. It does 180 horsepower. It's backed up by a CVT. Now, it's got enough juice to do anything you want to do. Absolutely. But it's not a hot rod by any means. You got to kind of get it rolling, and it'll do lots of good things. The EPA says you should be looking at 31 miles to the gallon in the city, Highway 38, combined at 34. Now, over the 285 miles that I drove this vehicle, I got 33.8. And again, it's got some pretty zippy performance after you get it up and get it rolling, but I'm not really talking about a turbo lag here. It just got to get it rolling, and boom, you're gone. And when you're out on the highway, it's got a firm ride to it, but, and it's still fun in the corners, but it's got a lot of road noise. But that might be because it's a touring. It's got a little stiffer suspension on it. Yeah. But it's okay. It's not like the little car that will bounce you to death. Now, the base trim price on a vehicle like this, the base model is $23,365, and again, this is a Honda, so it's got packages $28,300. As tested, $29,295. If you're looking at something compared against, you're looking at a Mazda 3, a Honda Elantra, or even a Kia Forte.
Thank you.
That is my review of the Honda Civic.
Thank you, sir. The In Wheel Time Car Show streams on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and InWheelTime.com. Podcasts available from your favorite podcast provider. In Wheel Time Car Show continues right after these brief messages.
Houston, we have a date. Saturday, March 19th, 2022. It's the premiere of the all-new Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, and you are invited. Tailpipes and Tacos kicks off a new seasonal format, and first up is the Spring Cruise-In at the Lupi Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. Saturday, March 19th. Tailpipes and Tacos will award trophies for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, and Best Modern Classic, so make plans now. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest cruise-in, and this one brings it all together for Spring 2022. You'll enjoy seeing the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods, along with Lupi Tortilla breakfast tacos and adult beverages. There's no fee, and you can automatically compete for custom Lupi trophies. It all happens at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Get your ride ready for the all-new Spring Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, March 19th. Spectators are welcome. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show will be there, too. Let's celebrate the arrival of spring and the return of Tailpipes and Tacos, March 19th. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching In Wheel Time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Wheel Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@inwheeltime.com. If you're in charge of your company's small, medium, or large business anywhere in the U.S., let the On Hold Company help you retain customers and promote your business on your telephone system. Promote special sales or company info when placed on hold. The On Hold Company provides custom on-hold messages with professional male or female voices, licensed background music with no long-term contract, no monthly recurring bill, and updates your messages as needed. Call the...
we're in bad weather, Houston, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
It's been cold, it's been rainy, and now it's okay. So we're coming down there. Rachel, it's a pleasure. Mike just gave me a brief overview, and the first thing out of his mouth was, "Oh my gosh, I forgot and left the book at home." But that's okay, because I want to ask you all about it and a little bit about you. So let's start off with you first. Are you a longtime author?
Of course. Actually, I'm a longtime car enthusiast turned author with this book. So this is my first and only book right now. But I definitely plan to, give her some brothers and sisters here in the near future, all, of course, car related.
And this book, from what I understand, it's called What Cars Say, is a children's book.
Yes.
Do you have any
children?
Do you have any children?
I do not.
So, okay. So apparently you have done the research, and you know what you want to teach children as far as cars are concerned, I assume.
Yes, correct. I've been in the automotive industry working since I was about 16 years old. And then I've just been a longtime enthusiast thanks to my dad since I was about 6 years old. So I remember the questions that I asked him when we were walking around car shows together when I was a kid. And then I remember asking the questions that I was asking when I started working at dealerships when I was 16, 17, 18, and even now at 25, questions that I still have about cars here and there. I try to incorporate everything into the book. So not only is it for kids, but it's also engaging for the parent or the adult that's reading it to them.
Well, I have to tell you that my oldest daughter, I'm not going to tell you how old she is now, but she would kill me if I told her.
Yes, she would.
Yeah, she would. But I will say to you that I was big into reading to both of my girls, especially my oldest, because she had asthma and had to do breathing treatments at night when she went to bed and that sort of stuff. And it became a big deal for us
to read.
Yeah. And I subscribed to a service that gave us Disney books, talking about Mickey Mouse and Goofy and whatever it was. We had a little book. And so when we got our little shipment, I think they shipped 6 books every 6 weeks or something to the house. So we had a book a week, and we'd read a chapter or two every night. And she still remembers it, and I remember falling asleep in it and getting nudged. Dad, wake up. You haven't finished the book yet.
See, now if you had an automotive book to have read to her, you'd have stayed awake.
Exactly. But, they didn't have those. And so I find this really fun because, I'm looking forward to grandchildren soon. And so I want to continue that with them. And I thought, wow, this would be a perfect thing.
But yours is an audio book, correct?
Yes, it's. I always like to say, you remember those books that's like what the cow says, and you press the button and it says moo. This is basically what cars say. So I have everything in there from, you guys were talking about the Honda Civic. I have one of those in there, all the way down to the Pagani Huayra, and then in between I've got the NSX. I've got a Mercedes SLS. I've got everything in there. 21 different sounds, all from real cars.
Well, that's why Mike enjoyed it, because it's a children's book.
But it's not just playing the sound. There's words in there to read, correct?
Yes, and I Dr. Seussed it a little bit to make it easier for the comprehension of children, so they all rhyme.
So you got a copy of it there with you, I hope, since I didn't bring a copy.
Well, hold it up so we can see it.
There it is.
Oh, it's a big book too.
Yeah.
I love that. What Cars Say.
Yeah.
Vroom.
There you go.
And where you guys were talking about Viper.
She's going to read us a story.
The Viper stage.
You
want me to read it?
Sure. Yeah.
All right.
Read the Viper.
So I am a blank. I got you. I am a blank. They say my trucks are built super tough. However, over the years, our brand has made a lot of stuff. The car you see before you is fast like a snake. So when out on the road, I leave all other cars in my wake. And then you find the button. I'm not sure how well you'll be able to hear it, but.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. So it plays the sound of the car.
Yep. It plays the startup and then the exhaust out.
And where is your book available?
So right now it's only available on my site, www.whatcarssay.com.
That is so cool. And I love it. So has the book been out very long?
She was a little COVID project for me. So officially it's been out and available on the market for about a year now, I want to say.
Nice.
Oh, well, we're going to have to put a link up on our website.
Yeah, I think Conrad's doing that right now.
Yeah.
How much is the book?
It is. So right now I'm actually running a special as well. So what we did during January is we actually digitized the book as well. So when you buy it, you get the digital copy for like your iPad or your phone, so the little one can take it on the go, and you get the physical copy. And right now, shipped to you, downloaded to the phone, everything's $34.99 out the door.
Perfect. Oh, that's not bad at all.
Yeah. What a great birthday, Christmas gift
for the child car enthusiast.
I've got a birthday coming up.
That'd be perfect for you. Yeah, exactly. Well, and I assume that it ships from Delray, Florida.
It does, with love by me.
And does the author sign it if we ask?
If you ask, I'm happy to.
How fun. I want one.
I'll bring it next week. I promise. Anyway, you're going to love this thing. I promise you.
I love it already. Well, Rachel, it's great to talk to you. Rachel Alfonso.
I have a question.
Yes?
You mentioned that you were in the automotive business. Obviously, your background is your growing up is where your inspiration for this came from. But what do you do in the automotive business?
So right now, in the last year, I've dedicated my time to fully being an author. I really want to make What Cars Say a household name, just like Dr. Seuss is. But prior to all of that, I was working a number of different jobs. I actually ended up getting involved with some shops down here that did anything from, tuning and repairs. And then I got, actually how I came up with the idea for the book was I got hired by a dealership that was down here in Boca called XL Auto Group. And I was the receptionist. And the way that it worked was that all the cars were inside the dealership. And to get them out, you had to obviously start them up and back them out through like the freight entrance. But by doing that, obviously you hear the car very clearly from where I was sitting. So I used to play a game with the salesman. If I could guess
what car it was,
the car was that started up without being able to see it, I got a point. Or if I got it wrong, they got a point. And at the end of the week, somebody had to buy like coffee or drinks or whatever. So then I ended up getting a job with another gentleman here in South Florida. He's a great collector and an amazing friend of mine. His name is Pejman Gadimi, and I curated his collection.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but growing up with Disney, before Disney was what it has become, I'll never forget the I think it was a Goofy movie, a short, with him driving the car. And they overdid everything with the cars. And the sound effects, and it was just hysterically funny. And that has always stuck with me. And if I ever get to see that movie, which it's out there, I always still, at my ripe age, I will still watch that movie. It's cute.
Yeah.
It's a little short.
And you're a little ripe.
Very ripe.
Hey, speaking of ripe, Valentine's Day's Monday. Make sure
For God's sakes, don't forget.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? I know how
forget.
you can get free drinks, Mike, on Valentine's Day. You and your significant other, you go into a bar and you do a fake proposal, and people around you will buy you drinks. So you go, and then you go to the next bar and you do the same thing.
Jeff's been doing that for years.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, but what is
Don's been doing it for a long time too.
No, you go to a restaurant and you go down on one knee
proposals.
at the table, and that's so great. You get drinks.
I'm just wondering, do I have to take my wife or?
Becky, info at
said
inwheeltime.com.
So have you gotten your wife anything?
Mm-hmm. Got her an ignition switch from 1970 Oldsmobile Rally 350.
No, that's what she's going to get you.
And when you get that ignition switch,
He's calling Haggerty.
and the car running
George
again,
has already found it at Advanced Auto Parts for me.
that's great.
George lives near Temple, doesn't he?
He does. Does George live in Temple?
Near.
Yes, somewhere around there.
Okay. George is one of our. It's a guy that I've known since grade school, and he keeps us on our toes. Let me put it that way.
George needs help sometimes. He does.
George,
We need help from George.
and yes, we do need help from George.
George
Okay.
is good.
Ohio Assembly and the Transit Van Line which used to have a transit van, at Ford's Kansas City Assembly will be down next week, while Kentucky Truck and Chicago Assembly and Dearborn Truck will operate on reduced shifts. Ford Motor Company will cut the output of all that because of the semiconductor shortage, and they're not alone. And now, and I haven't checked in the past few hours, but the big stoppage at the gate between the U.S. and Canada, I think is going to be...
what's the name of the bridge?
Ambassador.
The Ambassador Bridge.
Goes
And
to
that's
Windsor.
a privately owned bridge.
That is. There's
which
also
is
a tunnel.
weird.
There's also a tunnel, but the truck traffic goes on the bridge.
Yeah, I was going to say, because the only thing I've
The tunnel is,
done
cars
is the
fit-
tunnel.
Yeah.
Kia, for the first time, topped all brands in vehicle reliability over the first 3 years of ownership as Korean brands claimed 3 of the top 4
saw that.
spots.
Wow.
In the annual J.D. Power study, the 2022 Vehicle Dependability Study was redesigned this year to include additional tech-focused inputs, such as software updates. As a result, overall problems per 100 vehicles jumped to an average of 192 this year from an average of 121 last year.
Oops.
The result with the Kia and Korean brands, it's not really too crazy because it's the first 90 days of ownership, and apparently they've kicked everybody's butt in getting it right. And, I've always liked Kia, Hyundai. I think that they make a car for all people. And I think that the quality of their vehicles is good. And they just resonate with a lot of people. And I think that most people will agree that they're really good. The survey...
And they're priced right.
Exactly. Conducted for 33 years, tracks problems per 100 vehicles during a 12-month period by owners of 3-year-old vehicles. It covers 184 specific problem areas across 9 major vehicle categories, including climate, driving assistance.
People
I
like
have no
us.
idea.
Don't look at me.
People who don't use them.
Well, I know that there's a lot of thought process put into them, but do they understand that you're driving a car?
I think the way they do it is they want to give you so many options, they have to put it somewhere. And by doing that, it's in there. By golly, we told you we were going to do it. It's in there.
I think it's like a lot of things an engineer does, a software engineer. They have it in their mind. They know what they want to say and what they do. They don't understand that the average user is not at that engineering level.
Well, it could be part of it, but I don't totally agree with that. I think it's more of they're handed so much stuff they got to put it somewhere. I'm going to put it behind this. I'm going to put it in front of that.
Well, yeah,
that's the way they load it.
I understand, but they do it that way because it's logical to them from an engineering perspective. We used to do some process engineering, and we had to train our process engineers. You don't do it like you know how to do it. You've got to do it because you're trying to teach somebody that doesn't know.
Right.
You've got to do it. We hated to use the term, but you've got to dumb it down so that the unknowledgeable can do it.
Right.
And engineers a lot of times, and I think software and computer engineers
can't dumb it down far enough.
But
exactly.
They
assume everybody knows this level.
In radio, we used to do a thing when I was in music radio, where we'd take snippets of songs that were either climbing or going down the charts, and you'd have a focus group, and you'd bring a bunch of people that were knowledgeable, generally speaking, of music, and more specifically the format, whether it's country music or rock and roll or whatever. You take a snippet. Do you know what that song is? Play the. I'll name the song in 4 notes. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
And if people didn't recognize the section of the song that was played, it'd be booted off the station because people weren't tuning in.
Voted off the island.
Pretty much. People weren't tuning in to hear, songs that they didn't recognize. This was a hit station, and they wanted to keep the hit station going. And it was very successful with doing it by that. I don't understand, because I do know that these car companies, these car manufacturers do have focus groups.
Oh, yeah.
And they bring them in and they survey them. What do you think of this? What do you think of that design? What do you think of this? How does that work? Does that work good for you? And they'll ask, 100 people. Well, where does that apply to the infotainment systems?
Well, but see, I think some of that if you're not careful, it's like doing a survey. If you can structure the survey to ask the questions
You
to
want the
listen,
answer
to get the answers you want. So I want you to like what I've got here. So I'm going to ask you how this works, because I know that works and I think you'll like it. Not necessarily stand back and say, show me how you like this.
Do you think they seed the results? They already
I think they do, but
yeah.
even if it's subconsciously, because they're engineers, they know this is the way it's supposed to work. This is the way I want you to use it.
But
so I'm going to
doesn't
ask you
necessarily
to
make
lead you down that road.
Well, you guys have bragged about the Stellantis Uconnect for years.
Yes.
As being the most simplified, user-friendly of the systems out there.
It's user-friendly. I don't know if it's simplified, but the way that you go through the menus, let's just say, for instance, that you want to get into the hot rod aspect of the Hellcat.
Yeah.
It's very simple. There's a button on there that says whatever, performance or whatever. You hit the button, and it takes you to a different set of menus. Okay? Once you're there, then you set whatever it is that you want to set or that you want to look at or that you want to see. You certainly can't do it all at the same time. But with some of the things like changing the radio station, for God's sakes, show me the screen that's got the radio stations on it and let me change. If I want to go to 9:50 a.m., and then put in 9:50, or better yet, have a knob there that I can go and boom, I go from 6:10 to 9:50 like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to sit.
Agree.
No,
I don't want to
totally
sit there and have
like the old Wonder Bar.
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Something.
Search or seek.
It's just not. They just don't make it easy.
The one that I'm driving now, I want satellite radio. I want music on the satellite radio.
And Jimmy
I
Buffett.
want rock music on the satellite radio. Now I want to see the channels for that. And then I got to scroll through that to find the channel I want.
Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah. But I mean, whatever it is, but that's how I got to get to the radio station. I can't just say Sirius Radio, channel 24.
I
can't do that.
I had a car the other day that pressed the button and talked to it, right? I said, radio. Okay. Sirius XM. I don't know what you mean. What? Are you kidding me? And it wouldn't let me do it that way.
But it had Sirius XM available on it.
It was in there. But it wouldn't let me tell it that I wanted, channel 311 or whatever it was that I was looking for.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
That's jacked up. You're paying thousands of dollars for that.
But they don't promote that a lot now. Years ago, the phone company was going to go to that, to where you just tell the phone, call whatever. Yeah. They tried that. For like 5 years, we tried that. Couldn't make it work because you have a sinus infection today, so it can't understand what you're saying.
Well, now most
COVID.
cars have
Exactly.
a thing that you can actually get into it and get the voice recognition, so it recognizes you and your speech pattern.
Until you have a cold or something that changes it enough that it don't understand you, or you've had a beverage or two.
Like you're from Niederville.
We had a format in our phones. You could actually do a call report. I don't know if you have this at BG. You could actually say your call report into your phone, and it would be logged in, and you could see it that evening on your screen, on your laptop, and you could edit it. Well, there was a couple of good old boys with these deep accents of Texas trying to talk to this phone, and it was very hilarious. It was comical, and it would come up in all kinds of little scribbles and misspelled words. And
Well, that's why I don't talk to Siri, because Siri
doesn't understand you.
Sometimes my iPhone chooses words I wouldn't choose, and they always seem to be the worst thing you can say.
Well, that's the way you talk. I've seen you talk to your phone.
I was going to say, it's not picking up something that you didn't say.
Clearly, you said it one time or another.
At least once.
I don't do talk to text.
You need to go to church with Mike.
Yeah, that church cruise-in that they're going to have.
Yeah, in your rally.
Well, what other kind of guests do you have scheduled already for next week?
Oh, for next week.
Do you have that?
Well, let me look in the magic book here.
Mr. Yawn over here.
I don't know where that came from.
Dude,
we're obviously not keeping him awake.
You need a nap or something. Just saying. And Mike,
will you spoon with me?
No, I will not. Who?
Jeff does.
Oh, yeah, God.
Right.
Yeah, Jeff Heitzman does. Well, never mind, Mike.
I can't follow that conversation with anything good. So we've got Mike coming in, the CEO of Ram. Ford is tentatively coming in with somebody to talk about some of the things going on at the Chicago Auto Show this weekend.
Good.
And working with the Emmons brothers. They've been kind of busy, but trying to get one of them in here.
We'll be right back after this quick break.
Houston, we have a date. Saturday, March 19th, 2022. It's the premiere of the all-new Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, and you are invited. Tailpipes and Tacos kicks off a new seasonal format, and first up is the Spring Cruise-In at the Lupi Tortilla in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. Saturday, March 19th. Tailpipes and Tacos will award trophies for Best Hot Rod, Best Classic, and Best Modern Classic, so make plans now. Tailpipes and Tacos is Houston's coolest cruise-in, and this one brings it all together for Spring 2022. You'll enjoy seeing the best hot rods, show cars, classics, and resto mods, along with Lupi Tortilla breakfast tacos and adult beverages. There's no fee, and you can automatically compete for custom Lupi trophies. It all happens at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Get your ride ready for the all-new Spring Tailpipes and Tacos, Saturday, March 19th. Spectators are welcome. The In Real Time Car Talk Show will be there, too. Let's celebrate the arrival of spring and the return of Tailpipes and Tacos, March 19th. We'll see you then, weather permitting. Is your business or company looking to stand out in a crowded advertising market? Looking to reach the real auto enthusiast? Well, you found it. You're listening or watching In Real Time, and so are your fellow enthusiasts. The In Real Time Car Show now reaches 500,000, and we can put together a marketing plan that will engage them in your product, business, or service. To get the tires rolling, just shoot us an email to our marketing director, Jeff Zekin. His address is jeff@inwheeltime.com. If you're in charge of your company's small, medium, or large business anywhere in the U.S., let the On Hold Company help you retain customers and promote your business on your telephone system. Promote special sales or company info when placed on hold. The On Hold Company provides custom on-hold messages with professional male or female voices, licensed background music with no long-term contract, no monthly recurring bill, and updates your messages as needed. Call the On Hold Company at 713-223-HOLD or go to onhold.net.
Well, you know what that sound means. That's a wrap for this week's In Real Time Car Talk Show. When you're on our Facebook page, please give us a like. Tell your friends about us. Share our junk if you would, please. You'll get Conrad's Unicorn Hunting features, along with all things automotive all week long. There'll be some fun stuff in there, too, for you, along with our upcoming car-related things to do and entertaining car talk. The In Real Time Car Show streams live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and InWheelTime.com when we can get it to work every Saturday, 8 to 11 a.m. 30-minute podcasts are available from your favorite podcast outlet 7 days a week. The In Real Time Chief Engineer is David Ainsley. Our Marketing Manager and Video Technical Director is We Need More, Jeff Zeek.
We do.
For booking agent and podcast editor and know-it-all, Mr. Mike Out of This World Mars.
Mike, know-it-all.
His royalty, King
it
Conrad DeLong. Right. I'm Don Armstrong, the Mystery Man. Today's show is a presentation of the Love Boat Show. Don't forget your mom and other wonderful women in your life. Monday is Valentine's Day, moron. Be sure to join us. If I have to tell you, you've got to be a moron if you don't know it's